It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games. Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
We're all locked in now.
Your home for the best sports radio in Utah is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's time to kick off your afternoon drive with Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Allow me to introduce the best of the best.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson, happy Monday. That guy, Trevor, my friend Trevor, who's a big hockey fan, he has... He's kind of funny. I bet there are a lot of fans like this. He has tickets to the Mammoth, does a season ticket package or whatever because he's a huge hockey fan. But he's from Buffalo.
Okay.
So he's got the Sabres thing is number one, but he's you know what I mean? I would bet there's a lot of that in town.
Yes.
Anyway, it's so funny to talk to, super fans when their teams are on the brink. Like, Buffalo had to win Game 6, right? And now they're going into Game 7. And talking to him yesterday was like, yeah, I'm super nervous about it, bro.
Yeah, it's real. It's real.
Like, I was like, are you going to go anywhere? Are you going to go to the sports bar or something to watch it? He's like, no, dude, right here.
Yeah,
right here.
I knew a guy, he's a great guy. He's a principal of a school now locally who was like a huge Peyton Manning fan. Even beyond Indy, when Denver was in the Super Bowl against Seattle, he locked himself away. He didn't come to the Super Bowl party that the whole family was having.
Yeah.
He had to watch it by himself because he couldn't be around the group, whether it was the nerves or the distraction of people or the casual approach that everybody else had. People take it seriously. It was funny to see the videos of the Jazz winning the lottery. How many people, and I get it was Sunday, it was a little bit different, but like a dude by himself with the wife on the couch not talking, like locked in. Like, yeah, that's how a lot of people have to consume it. I actually don't envy that.
No.
It's a hard way to be a fan.
It's a nervous way to live.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have like a 2-year-old son, though, and that kid is already like playing hockey in the front room or whatever. It's like a young Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm investing in that kid now. I'm going to make a deal with the kid. I'm going to say I'm going to give you $30, and you have to give me at least 20 points on your career earnings.
Which
Deal.
we are seeing. That is the ugliest new thing we've started to see.
Well, we saw it with Tony Finau, right?
Oh, was that a Tony thing?
I was talking to my mother about it just yesterday. His, I guess BT wrote about Tony for the Des News. And I guess he's gotten that thing settled because it was one of those where I don't know. I don't know enough about it to, treading lightly, of course, but it was one of those give you money when you're young and
help you train, et cetera, et cetera.
Doing all that. And as a result, you get, whatever percentage of your career earnings. Wasn't it Yasiel Puig?
Yes.
Who was paying a tremendous amount of his career earnings to the people that smuggled him out of Cuba?
Yes.
Wild story. If I remember, somebody, ESPN or somebody, did a long-form story about that. I'm sure people could find on the internet. His story is wild.
Yeah.
It is wild, him getting out of Cuba and making it and playing for the Dodgers and eventually signing a $100 million contract or whatever it was.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. And, yeah, you get 5% for some of these guys. And, yeah, if you go on to make $100 million in your career, it really pays for itself for that $100,000 you put up at the front.
And get this, Ben. And people could have fun with something like this on the call-in feature if you want to get involved, the KSL Sports app and call in. But the kid, the 2-year-old, playing hockey in the front room, his name is Bear.
Oh, yeah.
And so I feel like that name...
It's a good bet.
...gives him even more. His mom was a college athlete. Dad was a college athlete.
Yeah.
I'm giving this kid $50. I just upped my offer.
But you need more points.
What names inspire what? You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you name your kid Alfred, you've got a butler coming, or driver. Sorry.
So something.
That's on you though.
Something in the service industry.
Yeah, Gil. It's the salesman. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, all right, like The Simpsons. I like that. All right,
but
like that.
But yes, Bear.
Like that?
Our guy Rock. You're coming up with something tough.
Dude, I knew a Rock in high school that, I mean, he wasn't Rock. He wasn't like 6'9" and 300 pounds, but Rock was a serious athlete. So anyway, what names inspire what? And let's not get silly with the dancer names. Let's keep it above board.
Yeah. Right. Roxy. No,
whatever.
Does not need to apply. But
that's too low hanging fruit for our listeners.
Yeah, we're way above that, notoriously.
Way above that.
But yeah, what name inspires what outcome for your child?
You
got to be careful with that.
Yeah, well, let's keep it creative.
Use the call-in feature.
Yeah, please do. But yeah,
Jeeves. Well, kiddo, pick up a duster.
No, like Bear Bachmeier. Like,
yeah,
he plays a quarterback, which is a soft position, but he's not a soft player.
No, he doesn't play a finesse style quarterback.
His name's Bear.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want?
Right.
If his name was Fox, he'd have to be smart. Right?
You'd hope so.
He'd have to be like, hey, whether he was or not, we'd talk about him like he was.
Yeah.
You see the way Fox reads defenses? Sly guy.
It's got to be.
Man. All right. Anywho, so good weekend for you, Ben?
A+ weekend. Yeah. Pretty chill.
Spent admiring Donovan Mitchell, I saw.
I did. He was great last night. That might be the best game I've seen Donovan play. And you know what? That's impressive because I thought Game 5 was the second most impressive game. And at the time, maybe the most impressive game I'd ever seen him play, including his 50-point outings in the bubble. He was great last night.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
Oh, Donovan!
And he's going to be great in the next series.
Against the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Probably will be. Well, he needs to be.
My takes on Donovan, I have not always been the rosiest per se. I still don't think it's a mistake that the Jazz traded him. I thought that maybe his ability to advance to the NBA Finals was above him as a number one on an NBA team. I'm off that entirely.
You think that's coming?
Donovan's going to the NBA Finals, and I am here for it. I am now cheering for James Harden.
Oh, Donovan!
Donovan is going to have a legendary series. He is no doubt the best player on an NBA Finals team.
Okay.
I'm here.
I think we're going to see an ugly exit from our friends with Cleveland.
Wow. I am here for it. Absolutely not. They're going to take it right to that softy cakes Knicks team.
Let me look up how these teams fared against one another in this
It does not
series.
matter.
I'm just curious.
It does not make one bit of difference.
It might make
Donovan is a playoff player.
All right, we'll see. He was great last night. Again, the Cavaliers were 2-1 against the Knicks this season.
Every time Donovan dunks right in the face of a New York Knickerbocker, I'm going to be thinking exactly this.
Oh, Donovan!
You're going to have Locke running through your head.
Do you know how many times that I've heard David Locke calls about Donovan Mitchell?
Wow!
Absolutely going to be going through my brain because he is going to be putting on a darn clinic coming up in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I am here for it.
Donovan, in this last series, again, I think it's the best I've seen him play. Averaged 28 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists. He shot 45% from the floor. He did only shoot 29% from three. He's got to shoot better from three. As we mentioned, his fabulous, must have been game, let me see. It was game 4. It was not game 5, excuse me. He had 43 points in game 4. That was on the road where he had that miserable first half and then the brilliant second half, including 31 points, I think, in the third quarter. And then last night, like I mentioned, was the best game I've ever seen him play. And I think it's really notable that he did not have 40 points. It's really notable that Donovan didn't go out and go crazy. In fact, his best number was that he had 8 assists in this game. He had 26 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. He shot fine, 45% from the floor, 33% from three, nothing crazy. And it just reminded me again, as you have said, you don't think the Jazz made a mistake trading Donovan. I agree with you. I think the Jazz's mistake came before that. I think the Jazz's mistake with Donovan came when they decided he was a shooting guard and not a point guard. Because last night he played point guard, and he was awesome. And his teammates noticed it, including Jared Allen, who was also brilliant last night. But this was so telling to me in Jared Allen's walk-off interview. This is what Jared said.
He started out the game not trying to take it over, not trying to score every single basket. He started the game trying to distribute the ball. And I think that's huge for a leader like him, trying to get everybody else going and then getting himself going second.
Yep. That's always been Donovan's problem. And Jared clearly recognized it. Everyone recognizes it. When Donovan's trying to score every point, he is not at his best.
Yeah, I agree with basically everything you said, but I guess in a little bit of a different way. I mean, first of all, I don't think calling that Donovan's best game ever, I don't know if I'm coming up in that, but I can buy into your overall point with how he played, and he should have played like that more.
Like that?
Not only in Cleveland, but here. I would say, though, because I thought Donovan was fine with Ricky Rubio. Ricky was the problem. Ricky's shooting was the problem, and Ricky was the quote-unquote point guard. And I thought it went fine. The spacing was just wonky, and they needed to find. If you want to talk about why it didn't succeed with Donovan here, I would say it's because they did not find the correct chemistry around him. And I don't mean to blame the teammates, because Mike Conley is a fine player.
He's a good player.
And Ricky Rubio was a fine player. And Derek Favors was a fine player before they moved off him. And Boyan was a fine player. No, I put the blame on management. And that sounds really harsh, and I don't mean that to be I mean, who is the perfect general manager that makes the perfect moves? But they had the two pieces. They could not find 3, 4, and 5 pieces. You love Jordan Clarkson, so I'll throw in the 6.
Well, they got 6, fine.
But they
Joe Ingles was good. 6 and 7, we're good.
The team construction with Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell and Ricky Rubio did not function for very different reasons. And if we want to get caught up in labels like the 1 or the 2, I'm fine with that because it implies something. The point you're making, I think, is that pick your spots, be unselfish, be a team guy. And he really played like that.
Like that?
And it got his maybe the biggest win of the career, of his career. And I think that's a valid point. But if we diagnose the failure, and I think you would agree with this, or you are kind of implying this too, I'm not sure it's just a position thing. I think it's an attitude thing with the Jazz. Like, he got handed the entire offensive production on day 2. Because Rodney Hood was the starter day 1.
Well, it was supposed to be, and he got sick.
Oh, yeah, got sick. And then that was Donovan's position from that point forward. Mm-hmm. And he got handed the number 1 offensive role on a playoff team.
Right.
And what a story that was, and on and on and on. But I don't know if that created the skill set that was necessary for him to win at the highest level. So where I will come along with you, and I saw this when you put it out on the talk snap, if he were brought along in a different manner where he could be groomed in a different way to be more unselfish, but the Jazz wanted him to be selfish. That's the hard part. Mm-hmm. Is they wanted him to be selfish because they needed somebody to be selfish because Joe Ingles wasn't going to get it done.
Right.
Handling the offensive load. So maybe if he was developed in a different way and earn it more, be more of a team guy, I think your comparison to Keontae George is pretty interesting. You know, maybe the story would be a little different. But I'm not going to call it last night where he only had 8 assists and was an efficient 10 of 22. I don't know if I can come along with that, but that's just the box score.
Oh, Donovan!
And your point is about the nuance, which I hope that he does learn that lesson and goes in when he trounces the Knicks, making a concerted effort to not have it be the Donovan show.
Yes. I think what I mean by the best game Donovan's ever played. Now, some of it has to do with it's the biggest game he's ever played in, and they won. He's now going to the conference finals after a Game 7. He was the best player on the floor. Thus, the best game he's ever played. Not highest, best box score number, game score, if you believe in that number.
No, because the bubble stuff didn't count. I don't count that in his top games ever.
It's not even arguably his best game of this series if you want to look at the box
I
score.
know, but you and I watched so many games. There were some great. Let's give the man his due. There were some dang fine performances in Utah. But if you want to talk about the stage and throw that in, I'm here for it.
I think idealized role, that's what Donovan Mitchell should be, and I think that would maximize him. I am curious if this can be a mid-season or mid-career turning point for him. My gut says no. My gut says push comes to shove. You take a couple of things away from him. You didn't develop the requisite skills. Because if you watched the game last night, and I'm talking to our listeners, you heard, I think it was Harlan was on the call. He said 5 times in the first 6 minutes, Donovan Mitchell has more, he's got more assists in the first quarter than he averages for the entire playoffs. Because he had 4 in the first quarter, he averages 3 for the playoffs.
Which is just a ludicrous number.
Exactly right. He figured it out. If I get everyone else involved, Evan Mobley's great. Or last night, Jarrett Allen's mind-blowing. Jarrett Allen was incredible last night. Hence, Jarrett doing the walk-off interview and not Donovan Mitchell. He got the other guys to be the stars on the team. And then once they were up by 17... And every time the Pistons thought, we got it down to 13, Donovan gets an and one, Donovan hits a 3, Donovan gets a layup, whatever. That's when you take over. That's when you become, I can also score. So, you stopped everyone else because they're good, but they're not dudes, and I'm a dude, and you can't stop me. But if you do that from the first possession, you're going to wear yourself out or you're not going to be that effective. And I think that's Donovan's problem, and I think it's going to continue to be a problem in the next series.
Oh, no way. They're going to the finals. And he's going to be amazing. It is funny the lessons that you learn when it comes right down to it. And by the way, this isn't Donovan's first elimination game, so I'm not saying that he learned this immediately and it's going to stick. But it is amazing what happens when you are like Ben. You have the smart cruise control that helps keep you in the lane.
In the lane, yeah.
And you might be the biggest believer in that technology on the planet. I know Tesla and that sort of stuff is way more advanced, but something that you and I can identify with because I've got it too. You're on the freeway. There's construction. There's a lane shift. You might be the biggest believer in that seeing eye technology on the planet, but when it comes to the point where you're about to ram into the barrel,
I'm grabbing the wheel.
You're grabbing the wheel.
Yes.
You're going to do it. And Donovan was being eliminated. Obviously, he put it in his mind to play a certain way. And he won. And he was rewarded for it. So I don't know. He was always a learner. I mean, from day one, you got to give him that. I mean, Quinn Snyder Coach Snyder used to talk about it all the time. Captain Jack. How Donovan would soak up everything.
Why is the rum always gone?
That was put in front of him. So maybe he learns the lesson. I don't know. I know he's going to trounce the Knicks. I know Jimmy Harden is going to stand on his head defensively.
It's going to come together.
It's going to be unbelievable. Brunson has had his last good series because Jimmy is on the case, Ben. He and Donovan both.
I am excited for both of these playoff series. I think we have the best conference finals on both sides that I think you probably could have drawn up once we learned what these teams were actually made of, which was Boston didn't have the right stuff to win in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I think Cleveland is obviously, at their best, very dangerous. We saw that. They just, ousted Detroit, the number 1 seed, on their home floor. They have more firepower. They have more oomph than Detroit does. The West is obviously stacked. Spurs versus Thunder is going to be awesome. But I'm excited to see Knicks, Cavs. It's a real good test for both teams.
I'm glad you brought up the home floor thing. Can we now finally get over it?
Yeah, be done
with
it.
It has no value whatsoever, meaning not listen, if you were to argue to me that the home team has a slight advantage or whatever percent, but to call it a something to play for in the regular season that really keeps teams winning and focused and all that, absolutely not. I mean, the last 3 wins in that series were by the road team.
Yeah.
Giving Cleveland credit for something that they did, 2 games ago.
It cannot be, and probably is never, truly the deciding factor in the series.
It's not.
It's
never.
Not. No one's a worse team but wins because they got to play at home.
So I want to get rid of all the cliches, they've held serve by winning at home, and, they've done their job by winning one road game. I think we need to get past all of that.
That's totally fair.
I remember when I looked up the Jazz Game 7 history. They've had more success on the road than they have at home.
Yeah. Right. We'll go and beat the Clippers on the road in Game 7 a while ago.
Houston.
In Gordon Hayward's year. Yeah. The Tracy McGrady Houston teams. Jazz go and win at Yao at Tracy McGrady.
Andrei Kirilenko made the best shot of his entire career. Put Houston down.
Memo becomes a great defensive player against Yao Ming. It's like, that's...
Couldn't score a lick.
Yeah.
But you know what he could do? Jam his elbow right into Yao Ming's back.
Exactly right. So, no, this is not determined by who's playing at home. This is determined by who's the better team. And Cleveland was a better team than Detroit. No question about it.
Jerry Sloan, and man, if I'm misremembering this, hashtag fake news, but I'm pretty sure at one point he said that was Memo's best series. And it was the Jazz were overmatched at that position. He stepped up and made it happen. Crazy.
Yeah. One of the greats. One of the more, I don't want to say underrated, because it was a part of some of those more enjoyable Jazz teams in the early 2000s, I thought. But kind of gets overlooked a little bit as far as really good playoff series. That was the way they beat them in back-to-back years. But that first year was really a great series.
And by the way, the Pistons are horribly flawed. Mm-hmm. Horribly flawed.
They no-showed in that game. That was embarrassing. J.B. Bickerstaff had a very good post-game talk to the media about we all came together. We're all sacrificing in a way we didn't. We were all, look at how bad this team was 2 years ago. It was artificial. But look at how everyone came together. And I get that he got a lot of praise for that. And I thought, this is why J.B. Bickerstaff keeps getting replaced. He can kind of get you to a point. He raises your floor. He doesn't really raise your ceiling.
I don't know if I'm putting this one on JB.
No, I don't think it's JB's fault necessarily either.
Who's the executive in Detroit now?
Trajan Langdon, and who's his assistant? Dennis Lindsay.
Yikes! Actually. You know what? They're just one move away. They're kind of where the Jazz were. Speaking of Dennis Lindsay, they have to find an offensive component without sacrificing their identity.
You know who they could be in line for? I don't know how they get him. I wonder if they could be a dumping ground for Jimmy Butler.
Does he do it? I don't think he
He's
does
an
it.
Awesome
I don't
defense.
think he does it anymore.
He keeps their identity without totally rupturing it. He throws it off a little bit because Jimmy is a disruptor, but has been historically one of the great playoff players.
Who was president when he was born?
Taft?
That's going back.
It goes back away.
That's further than I thought.
Carter? Born in the Carter administration?
No, I think he's a little younger than that. I'm going Reagan?
Do we think he was a Reagan?
Do we think he was out by 88?
Senior one?
He was born in 89.
Bush one.
HW, yeah.
Wow.
H-dub.
That's crazy.
That was a while ago.
That was a while ago. No, he's old. No doubt about it. They should aim higher. They should try and get a star. I don't know if they're going to move off to get a star. They also need Jalen Duren to play better or move off him.
Well, he's a restricted free agent? Mm-hmm. Is that right?
It's a tricky one. Great regular season. Pathetic playoffs.
But does that mean he'll be pathetic forever? I don't know.
No. This was his first real playoff run.
Big, tough, and athletic is still of value. But
I think he's like 24.
But you have to show up.
It's not 30. But yeah, he's got to be better.
Speaking of flaws from Jazz of yesteryear, Greg Ostertag had a great series against Shaq, got himself a 6-year contract, and then never really played tough like that ever again.
Like that?
That's Mayor Greg to you.
People thought he was ruined by the slap. Christian, do you know about the slap?
Explain.
Shaq slapped him.
Shaq slapped him. It was the year after they swept the Lakers. The Jazz were in town to play L.A. They were both practicing at the same place. I'm trying to remember who was on the floor. I think the Jazz were on the floor.
Yeah.
And when they were trading over.
Oh, it wasn't even a game.
No, it was a practice the next year. And Tag had made him look bad. The Jazz really beat him. Tag got a big contract, and Shaq open-handed slapped Greg Ostertag right across the face. Rick James style.
My phone ain't ring, said Ostertag. This is courtesy of our friends at the Des News. The only thing he's done is through the media. He hasn't contacted me. In a written statement, as syrupy as Pepsi he promotes, O'Neal said he's sorry for slapping the Utah Jazz center to the ground between practice sessions at the Great Western Forum. I made a mistake. Instead of focusing upon what's best for the team, I got caught up in the drama of the season's first game and reacted emotionally instead of logically. He was then suspended. That's Shaq, not Greg.
Slapped the life right out of Greg. He was never the same. Never the same afterwards. Although did make a bunch of money. It stuck around in the league for a long time.
Greg?
Yeah. How many years did he play?
Played until 05. He was on Darren Williams' team. So Darren was drafted in 05.
So was he on the team for? He was that's like 10 years, right?
Yeah, he had a really good career.
And now he's mayor of a small town in Texas.
Mount Vernon, Texas. I think he won the vote 275 to 240, something around there.
I'm not kidding. Greg, very charismatic.
Oh, I bet you Greg is a very lovely person.
Very charismatic. Not surprised that he connects with people.
Yeah, owns a bar down there called Tags.
It's a great name.
Now he's the mayor. You know what? I one day want to live in a town where the mayor is also the bartender. I'm totally into that.
That dude, and Greg lives on like a farm. That's the American dream.
Yeah. Doesn't he have
He has chickens and stuff.
Does he have a zebra? He has some weird animal.
Does he?
Yeah. He has something that's like not obviously native to Mount Vernon, Texas.
Dude, okay, so you know how Don Nelson living the dream in Hawaii is the perfect retirement for him? That is like the perfect retirement for Greg Ostertag.
Yeah.
That guy's living it out. Stay tuned. Top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com is coming up next. We're going to talk to Nick Wilson, Cleveland sports radio host, coming up at the top of the 5 o'clock hour, and he will help me convince Ben why the Knicks are tostada. Done for.
Oh, Donovan!
Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, more coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Catch the NBA playoffs on Sling TV, the most flexible live TV streaming service, putting consumers in control to watch games their way with flexible subscriptions. Want to catch one game or a full series on ESPN? Grab a 1, 3, or 7-day pass. If you want to catch as many games as possible, get a monthly subscription with our ABC, NBC, and ESPN combo package. Either way, Sling lets you watch the playoffs your way with no long-term contracts. Learn more at sling.com.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm telling you, for nostalgia purposes, I'm going to have David come over to my house and call the game for me. You think he'd do it?
Well, he's got a job.
If we videoed it for Locked On Jazz, I bet he'd do it.
Maybe. He's a willing participant.
Yeah,
you can
right.
catch him. He's very busy in the offseason.
I know, and I think he might be in Arizona. We should get David on the show.
Oh, I know. We've got a different time slot now. We should absolutely get David on the show. We should also check in with Mike Smith.
Oh, yeah, we haven't had our guy Mike on since we made the move, have we?
Especially post-lottery, some interesting dudes.
Dude, Mike's like busy on the amateur golf circuit.
We can squeeze us in.
That's not always true.
Well, we can figure it out.
All right. Time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, the Western Conference Finals begin tonight.
Nice quick turnaround. Excited to have games playing tonight, and then tomorrow night the Eastern Conference playoffs begin as well, or finals begin tomorrow. But this is the series I think everyone's been waiting for. I think probably wrongfully everyone's assuming this is the finals before the finals. Whoever wins this is going to be the favorite. I have no doubt about that. I'd give both of the other teams in the East a chance, at least a slim chance, to win the championship if they get to the finals after this. But these are obviously the 2 best teams in the NBA this year. They are very dangerous. Great superstars.
This is why the Thunder are in a bit of a pickle this offseason, because the key to this series is going to be Isaiah Hartenstein. People are going to try and tell you it's Chet. It's not. It's Hartenstein. How much does Wemby want to get? We talked about Memo punching Yao Ming right in the kidney. How much does Wemby want to get punched in the kidney by Isaiah Hartenstein? That's honestly going to be the key to it all. I don't think you can stop Wemby, obviously, if you want to talk about that. But, the best strategy against LeBron has always been to gap him. The best strategy against Wemby is going to be in his business, fouling him. It should be like an old Jerry Sloan series. I'm not even kidding. And obviously, he's susceptible to people getting under his skin. Lost his cool in the last series. I don't know if it'd work, but that's why you sign a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein, and we'll see what happens. But they're going to have to figure out if they're going to pay him again this offseason, because that is going to be the best way to combat Wemby for the foreseeable future. So do you have a guy that can do that?
Wemby, hates Chet Holmgren. It's really funny because they're kind of similar body types, players coming out a year apart in the draft. If I remember, it was like 1 year apart. And people are always like, I don't know, Chet might have him. And Victor has always hated that and is going to want to prove it. Now, that could work against him if he tries to take over the game and do everything himself instead of letting, Steph Castle, who had an excellent game 7. What did they go to? Game 6? Game 6 against the Thunder, or against the Timberwolves to close it out. I don't think Wemby can do it by himself, but man, is he absurdly good and seems to get better every time he steps on the floor. So he will figure you out. I don't think the Thunder want to play with their food. They don't want to give up one of these early games because it could end up going to 6 or 7, as we've seen the Thunder are susceptible to as well.
I wonder if that rivalry. Well, we know that Wemby makes up crazy reasons to have a rivalry. I mean, he doesn't like Britney Spears for some reason. But I wonder if it's like. Do you know who the second to the market was behind Ozempic?
No.
Well, I don't either. Not really my point. I got to think, though, that pill, or whatever it is, shot, when Ozempic was the only one out there for 6 months. They had to be sitting there going, ours is way better. We're just waiting on this or waiting on that. Wemby's probably looking at there's a better 7-3 string bean coming along. Don't steal my shine. I'm taller and string beanier, which actually isn't true anymore. But where Wemby is wrong is they don't play the same position.
Right.
I thought Wemby would be more like Chet.
Agreed.
Where they would try and move him out to the wing.
Big next to him.
Yeah. That's not him.
Totally agree.
It just doesn't utilize him and what he's really good at. And they've, now making a living, giving him the ball at the nail and letting him go to work. I mean, by moving him out, you were really doing him a disservice. And he had to bulk up and get a little tougher, whereas Chet's string bean on the wing guy.
I'll be curious what we hear on Jalen Williams, Cody Williams' brother, that J-Dub, how quickly he comes back if he comes back.
Well, they need him.
They do need him. I don't know. I don't think they can close this out quickly without him, and they may not even close it out quickly with him.
One piece of advice for him: don't go to Luka's guy. I don't know what that guy would.
Whatever it is, don't
go to Luka's guy.
Is this real? Is this Shams Charania? Shams is saying that Jalen Williams, out since April 22nd with the hamstring strain, is listed as available against the Spurs.
There you go.
So
they need him.
Yeah, very excited to see this. This is going to be a fun series. This is what everyone's been waiting for. The Spurs had their number during the regular season. As you said, that probably doesn't really mean a whole lot. Wemby is 4-4 in his career against the Thunder. He clearly does have some success against this roster. So very excited to watch this series starting tonight.
All right, Christian, what's next?
Number 2, Brendan Sorsby has filed an injunction against the NCAA. He wants his eligibility now.
Well, okay, it's not going to do anything. And the season doesn't start for 3 months, so I don't know what. He's not going to get it. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get it back. I think he knows that. I think they're going to start, no pun intended, throwing Hail Marys to keep him in the game. But, dude, you screwed up royally. I don't know what to tell you. I wish you didn't. But everyone knows you can't gamble on the sport you're in. You probably shouldn't be gambling on sports in general as a college athlete. Mm-hmm. But you bet not just on the sport you're in, on the team you play for.
I don't know what to tell you.
Sorry, buddy.
I know. But
you're out.
Does I wholeheartedly agree with you, but does the NCAA have teeth anymore? Can they make rules?
Yeah, I don't know.
And how does that hold up in the court of law? Can they really prevent him can they disqualify him from eligibility? Is that actually illegal anymore?
The filing made in the District Court of Lubbock County, Texas, cites the NCAA's deeply hypocritical position on gambling and a wholesale abandonment of its obligations and duties to promote the well-being of Sorsby.
Oh, man, I am so glad, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I am so glad I work for a company that does not take money from gambling websites.
I'm completely with you.
I'm so absolutely happy that that's a thing because it does create so much conflict of interest. And I don't agree with this logic, but I am aware that this logic exists. Just because the NCAA takes money from a gambling company doesn't change the rules for you. You still can't gamble on your own sport and your own team, certainly. You cannot do that. It opens the door to the legitimacy of the game, which is against the rules no matter what. But the NCAA or whoever taking advertising money from these companies does open the door to the argument of hypocrisy.
No question about it. It's fully hypocrisy. It's fully hypocritical. The NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, college football, college athletics entirely. It's disgusting.
And I'm sure, God, why am I forgetting his name? The brother of Michael Porter.
DeJounte. Yeah.
I'm sure he made the argument, look at how much they're taking from DraftKings. I get you. Doesn't matter. But I don't know if the NCAA can prevent him from playing. That's going to be wild.
The filing by Sorsby's legal team says the quarterback suffers from a clinically diagnosed gambling disorder, which is a, quote, mental health condition. The NCAA has weaponized his condition to shore up a facade of competitive integrity while simultaneously profiting from the very gambling ecosystem it polices.
Yeah, that's ludicrous, but we'll see if it holds up.
I don't think we're going to see him.
No, I don't think so either. We shouldn't.
I hope we don't see him.
I'd actually hope he'd be persona non grata. Like, even if he were made eligible, would Texas Tech bring him back? I would hope nobody would.
No, he was one of the biggest faces of the summer, or I should say off season, for college football. He was the biggest quarterback recruit. Got a ton of money. It's kind of controversial. It's expected to be a high draft pick next year. If there was ever the right time to do it, this is the right time to do it. If you're going to draw a line in the sand and say you do not get to gamble on your own team, in fact, you're not supposed to be gambling on your own sport, you got to actually care about it. So I hope the NCAA enforces it.
Man, there's such access to gambling. I hope folks out there are careful. I'm not a prude, but be careful out there. What's next?
Number 3, the biggest news of the weekend, perhaps. Aaron Rodgers running it back with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Is it the biggest news of the weekend?
I get the Steelers haven't done anything to address the problem otherwise and don't have any good options at quarterback right now. So what the hell? I guess you might as well bring Aaron Rodgers back. But, man, if I'm a fan of a team, the what the hell approach makes me feel so gross. Makes me feel so bad.
He's back with his Super Bowl winning coach in Green Bay.
Okay.
Ian McCarthy.
Okay, we'll go get
Mike McCarthy. What? What did I do wrong?
Go get Nate Hawthorne.
Oh, Hackett.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Hackett.
Nate Hackett.
I'm all over the place. Yeah, what did I say? Hawthorne? Doesn't matter. Ethan, what'd you call him? The coach.
Mike McCarthy?
You said Ian McCarthy.
Ian McCarthy. I think you said Ethan McCarthy.
Did I say Ian? I have no idea I said that. That was a total brain fart. Mike McCarthy. That's what I said. He and Mike McCarthy. I blended two words.
You said Ian. Okay.
He and
then I made up
Mike McCarthy.
I made up a name entirely.
Yeah, he and McCarthy, not Ian McCarthy. Now I'm flustered. Ian McCarthy. He and McCarthy.
Joseph McCarthy.
Ian McCarthy.
I think you said Ian.
I said Rodgers. He and McCarthy. It's not a coach in Green Bay.
Okay.
Ian McCarthy.
You said okay. I think you did say he and, but it really does sound like
horribly constructed sentence. Really bad on my part. But no, I didn't call him Ian. Where did Ian come from? But yeah, poor sentence construction on my part. Apologies.
Joseph McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy.
Joseph McCarthy and our guy.
Are you talking about
Aaron
a senator
Rodgers.
from Wisconsin?
Yeah, the guy who did all the things.
Yeah.
The anti-communist guy. Yeah, he and Rodgers. He and Rodgers can go out and have a terrible season in Pittsburgh, and just wait until the next quarterback.
Was he terrible last year?
Joseph McCarthy?
No.
Yeah, not a good guy.
No, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, well, they didn't win anything.
No, but they went to the playoffs, right?
I think they squeaked into
won the
playoffs.
division.
Yeah. Well, that was the Ravens' fault.
But he wasn't terrible. That's my point.
We expect the Ravens to be better.
Do we?
I do.
The coach was the problem?
Sure.
Okay. Well, the Giants are thrilled to have him.
Yeah,
your Giants are loving it. So was he bozo or no?
All New York all the time.
Stay tuned. More next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Catch the NBA playoffs on Sling TV, the most flexible live TV streaming service, putting consumers in control to watch games their way with flexible subscriptions. Want to catch one game or a full series on ESPN? Grab a 1, 3, or 7-day pass. If you want to catch as many games as possible, get a monthly subscription with our ABC, NBC, and ESPN combo package. Either way, Sling lets you watch the playoffs your way with no long-term contracts. Learn more at sling.com.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
All systems go. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, we're teaming up with Beehive Meals, honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. You can do it at kslsports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to Jake and Ben. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Some interesting rankings, Ben, that we will get to coming up that have come out via this survey that The Athletic does with NBA players. NBA players voted on the one team they do not want to get traded to. We'll tell you where the Jazz land on that list.
Okay. It's not number one.
Not number one.
Yeah.
But they did get votes.
Yeah, I think that's always going to be the case.
I had multiple people this weekend talk to me about the perception for hockey players as opposed to basketball players. And really, they were inquiring on the hockey end because they care about the Mammoth and want to see them attract good players. And I think they are shooting for a different vibe. I mean, let me put it this way. I kind of talked about this. You only get one chance to make a first impression. And I don't know how much that has to do with the Jazz circumstance, but with hockey, like, be top-notch across the board. Like, take care of your dudes. Don't be El Cheapo with the Blazers, like, blow it out on the road, get the facilities rolling, really get the vibe out into the community. This is the spot. You know what I mean?
Big time.
And it feels like the Mammoth are trying to do that. I don't want to speak for them over there, but it feels like that's the impression they're trying to make.
It's not new. I'm curious I'm guessing it's for different reasons, but I don't know if people know this. So the Jazz become an expansion franchise in New Orleans in 1971 or 2 or whatever the year is. And they get draft picks as a part of the expansion draft, and then you get a draft pick in the actual normal NBA draft. It's like the number 2 or number 3 pick. I can't remember what it is. And the Jazz traded that pick for Pete Maravich, for Pistol Pete, because they were starting a new organization. It was in New Orleans. There wasn't a professional basketball team.
Wanted to put on a show.
They wanted to put on a show. They wanted to sell seats. But also, Pete was a good player. Mm-hmm. They probably wanted to establish this is a basketball town. We think you can win here. And Ryan, it's funny, he talked about this on the Bill Simmons podcast over the weekend. I think it was last week. Ryan Smith said that, the
ESPN2 guy?
Page 6. Page 2. Is that what it was?
Page 2.
Page 2. Former bartender, Bill Simmons. Ryan said, or Bill complimented Ryan Smith for not doing what the new owners do a lot, which we've talked about, which is Matt Ishbia going out and trading for Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. They're like, just get Kevin Durant. We'll win a title. And Tillman Fertitta did it with the Houston Rockets, and everyone makes the mistake, and then nobody ever benefits from it. Uh-huh. Ryan did a pretty good job not doing that, I thought. He didn't try and make a big splashy hire right away to prove to everyone how smart he was. And Bill Simmons really credited him with that. The Mammoth, though, on the flip side, did go and get Mikhail Sergachev, and now the big name, and we're not going to talk about it now, but this guy, Austin Matthews from Toronto, is available apparently and is a true top 15 player in the NHL and is friends with Clayton Keller and is from Arizona, or his family lives in Arizona. There's a lot of draws to this area. I'll be curious if to establish, hey, hockey players, Utah's cool, if they would actually do the new owner thing in Utah with the Mammoth, even though he didn't do it with the Jazz.
How much does he like frozen custard?
I hope a lot. So we have it.
Or ice cream treats in general.
I would hope a ton.
So
we have some?
Now you're saying, oh yeah, we do ice cream well.
We do.
Yeah.
Man, I had a good ice cream over the weekend. Oh, it was dipped, basically all sprinkles. It was so tasty.
Was it soft serve?
No, it was a vanilla bar, which is usually not my favorite,
okay.
but dipped and then all sprinkles and then a little drizzle of something on top of it was A+.
So you're saying the Mammoth, he needs to be Ishbia with the Mammoth.
I wonder if he will be. I probably would say it's probably the wrong move. Go out and get a splashy name versus letting whoever you have to trade to get him kind of establish themselves. But I don't know hockey well enough to know whether or not they're an Austin Matthews away from getting to the conference finals. They nearly beat Vegas, it felt like, and now Vegas is in the conference finals. Does Austin Matthews change that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Good to be good news for everybody that you and I are not making that decision, and it's Bill Armstrong.
But that's the Aaron Rodgers decision I was just criticizing. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to do anything, but what else are we going to do? Yeah, we got nothing else no other plans. So I would imagine Bill and Chris Armstrong have a different sense of that, different intel.
Yeah, I don't know. Ishbia is funny,
but I don't know if you have to sell Utah as hard.
Get me Kevin Durant.
I don't know if Utah will show up on some of these lists as much in hockey as it may in the NBA.
All right, we'll get to that coming up. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join Scotty G and the coach coming up Wednesday this week from 10 to 2 at the Bar W Beef pop-up event at the Cal Ranch store in Spanish Fork, 950 North Main Street. Again, their pop-up event Wednesday from 10 to 2. Ben, we teased this. The Jazz did show up on the list. Now, who did this survey? The Athletic has been reporting it.
It is The Athletic, yeah.
Is it The Athletic? Surveying players. And the question was, the number one team they did not want to get traded to, and the Jazz were on the list, Ben, with 5%, but they were what number? 1, 2, 3, 4, tied for 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was kind of surprised. And we can discuss why we think that. I'm not surprised they're on the list, but surprised that they're lower. Here are the teams that are above them. The number one response on the list by a long way. 35.8% was your Memphis Grizzlies.
Yes. More than a third.
Number 2 on the list with 11.7%. So notice that drop off from 36 to 12. The Washington Wizards. Number 3 at 10.8, the Sacramento Kings. Number 4 at 6.7, New Orleans. Tied with the Jazz at 5%, Brooklyn. And then Charlotte, below that, Charlotte, Portland, New York. That's kind of funny. Detroit, Indiana, Milwaukee, and the Lakers.
I'm trying to figure out exactly how many voters we think there were. I know the list will tell you. It's something like 120.
It's not the whole league.
It's not the whole league, but it's a decent chunk, and I've seen them conducting these and grabbing players and pulling them aside. So I do think it's legitimate. 5% for the Jazz is good. That probably means somewhere between 2 and 6 players they asked. More than 2 because, again, the teams that are below the Jazz, Milwaukee, and the Lakers who make the list are at 1.7% chance.
Right.
Or 1.7% of the vote. Mm-hmm. If that's 1 each, then you can do the math. That would be whatever, 60 players or so that they asked, 58 players that they asked. The Jazz at 5% means a handful of players said, no, I don't want to go to Utah. But to be tied with Brooklyn, well, Brooklyn's a great city if you want to be a young person who has a lot of money and go out on the town. So I think some of that has to do with opportunity to win. Some of that probably does have to do with some of the old things about Utah, which I think is totally fine. If you don't want to live in Salt Lake City, that's totally your choice. But Memphis obviously fascinating at 35%. And they have been very misrun, and the players seemingly have had a very hard time living there.
I would guess that all 5% don't want to play in Utah either for one of 2 reasons. One, probably they don't know anything about Utah. Uh-huh. They buy into the stereotype. In my opinion, the wrong stereotype, but there is that out there. Uh-huh. Or they are misled about the Jazz roster and think it's legitimately a 22-win team, which there is that out there too. Uh-huh. I would guess that that's probably what it is. Excuse me. The other names on this list, though, why Memphis at 35.8? LeBron was clowning the market. I would guess that LeBron's not the only one. I've never been to Memphis, but I've actually only heard good things. Our guy Jonathan Reinhardt is from Memphis, but apparently there's something out about the Memphis market. Partly the owner, probably, and partly Ja Morant.
There's obviously bad stuff happening right now in Memphis. I mean, Brandon Clark just died, and I know he was not in Memphis when he was there, but that was the team that was partially responsible for taking care of him.
This survey was probably pre that.
Probably was. I mean, it was done during the season. Yes, It was not. Brandon Clark died last week, and it's an absolutely tragic story. But yes, along those lines, I do think there is some concern about how this is all working out. What's happening in Memphis, how the players are being taken care of, what the facilities look like, who's in charge, who's running the show. And clearly the problem is I think that Ja Morant and Team Morant have been running the show in Memphis, and they've seemingly just handed over everything to get it for him. By the way, it was 161 players that were totaled. So 5% of the vote, whatever that would be.
It's like
6 or 7 players?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Locke was running to the Snap Talk to rub it in the face of the Wizards, who came in at 11.7.
Well, someone in Locked On Wizards was talking about, they were just talking about the draft, and they said nobody wants to go live in Utah because the Wizards have the first pick and the Jazz have the second, and Locke was responding saying well, look, this poll says nobody wants to live in Washington either.
That was after Locke fired him, right?
Probably. I don't know if Locke has that authority.
Oh, yeah, Locke's
anymore.
He's still running the show over there.
Yeah. You're probably right. I don't pay attention to what his power is, not power is at Locked On. That's
he's still doing
good for him.
But why Washington? Going through the reasons, is that purely, because they are trying to turn the roster around, is that purely reputation of the franchise?
Well, how many of these teams are playoff teams? Memphis is not. Washington is not. Sacramento is not. New Orleans is not. Brooklyn is not. Utah is not. Charlotte missed the playoffs. Portland barely made it in as the plan.
So you think it's all roster? But then New York's after that?
New York is in after that. Detroit, Indiana. Detroit finished with the 1 seed in the East this year. Indiana was in the finals 2 years ago. Milwaukee at 1.7%. Lakers at 1.7%. I think a lot of it at the top has to do with teams that are losing teams. Again, I'm sure there was 7 or whatever number players in this 161 person or player poll said the Jazz. They don't want to live in Utah. Being around the locker room as much as I am, it's the least I've ever felt that.
I think that market is becoming less important.
The world's just getting so small.
I watched a Giannis commercial during the playoffs, the national campaign. Who was it? I'm trying to think. Oh, it was a diaper commercial. It was it was Huggies. This kid out there crawling. It was cute. But Milwaukee's not. I mean, there's like 5 people that live in Milwaukee. You know, I wonder. Oklahoma City's dominating. It's probably. And listen, we're in Utah with a bad rep.
OKC is not on this list.
It is not a spectacular market.
It's a lousy town.
It's just not. Yeah, great. No offense.
It seems like they take care of their players.
I don't want to drag anybody.
No, it seems like they take care of their players and you can win.
And Shea signed a 5-year extension to stay there.
They get a lot out of their guys. They develop you right.
So, yeah, I think market is, and I wonder if that's an effect of modern media and your ability to, because your ability to go on Jimmy Kimmel, if you were a Clipper or a Laker, I mean, they have a Clipper or a Laker every other day. That used to be the way that you had to market yourself through traditional means. And if you were in LA or New York, then everybody talked about you all the time. That's not true anymore.
I'm totally with you. I
wonder if it just means less. I wonder if that number for the Jazz is so low because people can see, the NBA players can go, they're putting their roster together. And I'll go to Salt Lake City. I talked to Carlos Boozer. It's not bad.
Or whoever. I liked, again, it's so funny. We do get to this point. Like, Darren Peterson is coming into the draft. Cam Boozer's a good example, too. Cam Boozer's 18, Darren's 19. So 9 years ago, Donovan Mitchell gets drafted into Utah. This is 9 years ago. Okay, Cam Boozer was 9 years old watching Darren or Donovan Mitchell's rookie season. How impressionable and dumb were you as a 9-year-old? Being like, he won the dunk contest. He's my favorite player. Like, there actually is some sense of the Jazz are not this old dinosaur team that me as a 40-year-old remembers, or, that era of basketball players. These players don't remember Darren Williams. They didn't see Darren play. If they did, it was at the very end of his career in Dallas and Cleveland. They don't remember Darren in Utah. That's a distant memory if they even know that that's the story. In fact, I will tell you, and this was, I don't want to say it was off the record. It was just kind of not on a microphone. I was talking to Keontae George about how the Jazz acquired, it was Darren. I was talking to him about the Darren Williams trade and moving Darren and how they got Derek Favors and all this stuff, because he's obviously very aware that the Derek Favors trade is the reason why the Jazz were in the position they were with tanking. He didn't really know kind of the dynamics of all of it. And I was explaining to him the dynamics of Darren getting traded and Favors coming in and what Favors was supposed to be. And it's just like, they don't have this strong connection of Utah from that point. It's pretty fresh. It's pretty new. So if you were to tell me that all these 19 to 25-year-olds look at Utah and all they know of it is like, oh, yeah, Donovan was there for a while and Donovan seems really cool. He's like a good guy. Won the dunk contest there. That was fun. I don't really have any preconceived notions of it now. Utah's in the Big 12. A lot of these kids have come and played in Utah, either in Provo or in Salt Lake City during their college stays, which didn't used to happen as much pre-Pac-12, never happened really pre-Pac-12. If there's a different perspective, I totally would believe that. And on top of it, Ryan Smith has made enormous efforts to put a good foot forward to welcome these players who may have not felt welcome here before.
I think that's been true for a long time. Ryan's doing great. Don't get me wrong, but
Dennis Lindsay tried to do it.
Linda Lucchetti and her operation that she got off the ground over there, really taking care of families and doing. I mean, and going back to, Larry and his relationship with. I think they've tried to put the best foot forward and take care of the players.
I totally agree
for a long time.
Totally agree.
And Ryan's doing that, and he's building the new facility and all that sort of thing. But I just wonder if, priorities have changed, maybe. Where it's more about role. Maybe they're getting smarter about it. It's more about role. It's more about fit. It's more about structure. It's more about winning. And it's less about the other stuff. And listen, if you're LeBron James, you're going to pick living on the beach because you can. Yeah. I don't think you ever are going to be able to change that. If Carmelo wants to live in New York, he can, at the time, he could pick where he wanted to go. Good for him. I don't know, outside of A.J. DiBonsa, maybe who would pick Salt Lake, get Sam Merrill back.
As your primary location.
Yeah. But honestly, outside of L.A., Miami, and New York, what other markets are they going to pick surely for the market?
And it's notable that both Brooklyn and New York show up on this list.
No, free agents are going to pick San Antonio because they want to play with Wemby. I don't think they're going to pick LA because they don't want to play with Luka. We'll see. The Lakers ended up on this list with 1.7%. As you say, that means they got multiple votes.
I'm really curious to see how all of this changes. We were just talking about Darren Peterson's been to Utah. He's been to Utah twice. No, Kansas didn't play at BYU. So he's been here at least once, but he has been here twice. He played A.J. DeBonta at Highland High School last summer. And then he played at the University of Utah because Kansas did come here. Am I right on that? Maybe they didn't because they didn't play Provo either. But Darren has been to Salt Lake City in his life. A.J.'s obviously been here. Cam Boozer obviously spent a lot of time here because
born here.
It's I just don't know if we're going to get to this point. I remember talking to Kristen Peak, our friend. Cooper Flagg's family has been here, right? They played here in some high school tournament. Those things you just pass through Utah now. I think in the circuit a little bit more. I don't think anyone's really all that surprised by what Utah offers when they land here. I am curious though if NIL will change some players' desires to feel like you have to be on a big-name college team and then you have to be on a big-name NBA team, or if you can kind of shed that identity or reputation before you even get to the pros, where I think a lot of these guys, I got to be Kentucky and then LA, or I got to be Duke and New York, or whatever they think the major cities are where the major players go. I just don't know if that's as important anymore. I just think these kids have access to a much bigger world far more easily that is not relegated to 3 or 4 cities like it may have been in the 80s or the 90s or even the early 2000s, and it's just not really the case anymore.
I was thinking, quick side note, because I was listening to Sam Merrill, who was on the station earlier today. Awesome. Yep. He was on with Scotty and the coach. Bountiful Zone. Are there enough that we could do Utah-born basketball players for a What You Got Wednesday?
We could do 10.
Think we could get to 10?
We could get to 10.
Because the list, we'd be getting real thin.
Yeah, we're getting some lousy players.
I was trying to rattle
9 and
off.
10 are probably a little rough, but we could get to 10. I'd love to do that.
Okay. We'll put that on the list. Utah-born basketball players. The list ain't long.
No, it's not long. It's 10 players long. Might be 9.
It might be 7.
Yeah, but we can figure that out.
But I was thinking about that. Shout out to Sam Merrill, who had a huge game.
Going to the conference finals. He's already won a finals, right? He was on that Milwaukee Bucks team that won a title. He's already got his ring. So, Sam Merrill, he's like a legitimately good player. It's very cool to see how good his career has turned out to be. But no, I told you, being around this Jazz locker room, and you see the postseason comments, not playoffs, but end of season comments from Kevin Love of being like, I didn't want to be in Utah. I didn't know what my career looked like, but it did not involve Salt Lake City. And then I came in, and Will Hardy was great, and the ownership was great, and he talked about, how unique it is that the owner knows every player's name. It's like, that's never happened to me anywhere I've been before. That's a real cool opportunity. It's like, I love Salt Lake. And, he's been in Park City. He's got some ties to the area, but Kevin Love comes out and endorses it and kind of realizes, hey, there's something I can be here and I can be a part of something. Being around these young guys, Cody Williams is from Arizona. Ace Bailey's from Chattanooga. Went to small part of New Jersey for college. I just look, that doesn't mean there won't be big city kids that want to play in big markets and big cities. That's always going to be a thing. I think there are kids who are just fine saying, Shea's getting his in Oklahoma City. I just want to carve out a niche where I can get mine.
That's what I'm saying. I think the priorities have changed a little bit.
Yeah, which credit those kids. It's good for the Jazz, good for them, but credit those kids who recognize that what they've been peddled or what maybe previous generations have been peddled does not have to be the truth. You get to design your own pathway. I think the Phoenix Suns are a series of clowns dressed up in basketball uniforms for the most part. I'm not a huge Devin Booker fan. I love the idea that he wants to play his entire career in Phoenix. I think that's really cool. Phoenix is not super city. It's a much bigger city than Salt Lake, but it's not Los Angeles, and it's not Dallas, and it's not Miami, it's not New York along those lines.
You can get a Kardashian there in under an hour.
You certainly can. But, Damian Lillard's ties to Weber State and has always spoken glowingly about Utah as well. I think all of those little pieces help. And I think changing it and the Jazz maybe being good enough next year to justify some of it, I think would be a good sign for the future. And you know what? Adding another professional sports team of the major 4, MLS does great here. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Adding another team in the NHL, and if it ends up becoming MLB as well, I don't think that hurts.
Also, nobody's free agent anymore in the NBA. So
that's another big part of it.
So good times.
Because it is funny. That's a great point. I love that point. In the sense that, there was just this narrative that it was always easy to slight the Jazz or slight Utah specifically. Well, he's never going to sign in Utah. Like, I went back because we were talking about the Jazz making the mistake of what should they have done with Donovan Mitchell after his first year. And they go out and they trade for Mike Conley. And I went back and looked at who else was available the summer of 2018, whatever it was when the Jazz traded for Mike. It must have been, Donovan played 2 years with Ricky, right? Because he was hurt the second year.
Yes, they did play 2 years together for sure.
And then traded for Mike Conley in the summer of 2019. The two other guys that were moved that could have been fits for the Jazz conceivably were Malcolm Brogdon or Jimmy Butler. Well, at that time, everyone had said, well, Jimmy Butler's never going to Utah. Why they probably wouldn't even consider it, and he went to Miami, leaving Philly. Probably never would have even considered Utah. But he didn't even move in free agency. That was a trade. But in a free agency era, you're right. People weren't signing in Utah willingly. It's not even a part of the conversation of how you change teams. And in fact, if you hit free agency, it's a bad sign. And you're just trying to find anywhere you can to get a job to stick around in the NBA. Not a lot of guys are getting to free agency before they extend well before that.
Yeah, and those that are damaged goods like Nurk and his
broken beak.
His broken beak. You're getting a former, big contract guy, but he's got breathing problems.
If Nurk was more valued, he would have signed a deal last summer in Charlotte or in Phoenix 2 years ago. He never would have been here.
Never would have been a free agent.
Yeah.
So the game has changed. And if you trade for a guy like Jaren Jackson Jr., who has 3 years left on his deal, his opinion doesn't matter.
Correct.
So good news.
Yep.
But then if you can, they perform and you can convince them to stay, all the better. Even if it's just for 1 year like Paul George with Oklahoma City. Makes all the difference.
Yeah. I do think the most important thing you can do is win.
Yeah.
Attract players by winning.
Have an opportunity.
Yep.
Like Oklahoma City. Except for now they have to gut the team because they can't afford it.
Correct. Adam Silver doesn't want you to stay good.
In all honesty, and not to change topics, but they're going to lose Hartenstein. They're going to lose Lou Dort.
Mm-hmm.
The only players, I should bring it up, they only have like 4 players under contract.
Yeah, it's going to be their top 3 guys. It'll be A.J. Mitchell, like Wiggins. Yeah, and they're going to have to retool around Case and Wallace. They're going to have to retool around a lot of those players.
They're going to do it with those draft picks that they didn't trade.
Yeah, they
we'll
better
see
hope.
if that pays off. Yeah, in all honesty.
Yeah, it's a bad design.
Is it?
Denver tried to do it.
They're going to get 2 titles out of it, though.
Yeah, they will. No, their design to this point worked. They built a team in the this CBA era, and they're just kind of riding into this current CBA where they're making it so hard to keep these players. But yes, they're going to get 2 titles out of it.
This is it's the same as Flacco. Remember when the Ravens had to pay Joe Flacco, and then they had to cut the rest of the
Lost
team?
Everybody else.
And they couldn't tape it back together. But if they pick the right rookies and develop, speaking of A.J. Mitchell, what was that dude, undrafted?
Second round pick.
Second round pick?
Yeah.
And you're making a contributor out of him? That means if he's a second round pick, he is working for a ham sandwich
and $3 million a year.
And a can of beans.
Yeah. Nothing in the NBA.
Nothing. And they've got total control over him.
A couple of years.
For a
this
couple
year
of years?
And next year, meaning next season and the season after.
So you find a few of those and maybe you can do it, which is what they're betting on.
Yeah. It's a dangerous bet. But you have the right 3 guys atop their roster. It's just hard to be like, I think we can find a guy in the second round that will be a championship level player.
They have the Clippers, though, this year, right?
They do have the Clippers pick. And somebody else's pick at 17.
Yeah.
They've got 13 and 17. Yeah, they've got a hit.
You got to hit on one of those 2 guys, probably?
Mm-hmm.
2 out of 2 would really be something, but I think you got to hit at least one.
And they've done a very good job hitting on their draft picks.
That's the thing.
Yep, for sure.
Stay tuned. We'll have more Jake and Ben coming up next. We'll talk some Eastern Conference Finals at the top of the 5 o'clock hour with Nick Wilson, who was a sports radio host in Cleveland. So stay tuned for that. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Catch the NBA playoffs on Sling TV, the most flexible live TV streaming service, putting consumers in control to watch games their way with flexible subscriptions. Want to catch one game or a full series on ESPN? Grab a 1, 3, or 7-day pass. If you want to catch as many games as possible, get a monthly subscription with our ABC, NBC, and ESPN combo package. Either way, Sling lets you watch the playoffs your way with no long-term contracts. Learn more at sling.com.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Finding ways to be financially savvy is a smart move, and knowing you could be saving money for the things you really want, like that dream home or new ride, is a great feeling. That's why the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you save when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Came across a funny meme of Will Hardy giving someone the bird. Is that a real picture?
Probably not.
That doesn't seem like him.
Morgan Scalley has discussed Kyle Whittingham's exit from the University of Utah. Do you want me to read you some quotes?
Sure.
These are from our friends at On3.
Uh-huh.
Morgan Scalley says, all I know is I love Kyle Whittingham. The guy helped me believe in myself as a defensive football player. I was an offensive guy that he ended up switching to defense. And he gave me an opportunity. He gave me opportunity after opportunity along the way. Not only as a graduate assistant, but as an assistant coach, special teams coordinator, and defensive coordinator. This is where I'm really curious to see how your opinion changes on Morgan. He says, he believed in me, and I have nothing but respect and love for the man. If there's any misconception that Morgan Scalley had anything to do with pushing him out, there's no way. I was 100% loyal to him and have nothing but respect and love for him. Went third person on us. Change your opinion? Utah should have kept Whitt around?
No. No. Okay.
Scalley went into some detail, this is per Pete Nakos, on how he survived January's transfer portal while crafting his own vision for Utah's future. And there's a big, long conversation with Scalley. You know what I will say? If, and I assume it will because, Darren Williams is back and welcome in Utah, eventually the olive branch is extended between Kyle Whittingham and the University of Utah. The man that makes it happen might be Morgan Scalley.
Why?
Because Morgan loves the University of Utah, and he loves Kyle Whittingham, and I think he loves them equally. And if Morgan wins at Utah, which I think you and I both think he certainly has the ability to do, if he wins, he becomes the most popular guy, and then people will follow suit. And he's not going to abandon Whitt, and he's not going to abandon Utah. So I think if he says, everyone's good, we're all cool, this was the right move for everybody, I think Utah fans will put their arm back around Kyle Whittingham in retirement.
I don't think Whitt will put his arms back around them.
You don't think so?
I don't. Listen, I don't doubt that Morgan Scalley feels that way. I don't think Kyle Whittingham feels that way. You remember that, and I don't know if we have the audio for this, probably not, but do you remember that press conference like a month ago where the reporter quoted something Jay Hill said, and he thought he was talking about Morgan Scalley? And Whitt's response was basically, you tell Morgan to keep Michigan's name out of his mouth. Yeah. I didn't say that very well, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Morgan said what? And he had a bunch of edge. And I don't know how. I believe that Morgan was put in an awkward spot, and I'm sure that he did his best. And I have no doubt. I know Morgan, worked with him closely for a long time. The man certainly has integrity and certainly had love for Kyle Whittingham. There's no doubt about it. But I don't know if Kyle Whittingham feels like Morgan didn't push him out. How much has he even talked about Morgan?
Well, that would be
left?
pretty rough. Now, Morgan Scalley went in third person to say Morgan Scalley didn't have anything to do with Kyle Whittingham leaving. Yeah, if Whitt feels that way, he may feel spurned.
And the situation is super nuanced. Do I think that Morgan kicked in Harlan's door and said, give me this job or I'm out?
I was happy to be defensive coordinator at Utah. Today I am not.
I don't think that happened.
I've got to be the head coach. No, I don't think that happened either.
I wouldn't surprise me if Morgan at some point with his boss, Mark Harlan, not the announcer, but the athletic director. And Whitt is his boss too, but at some point I'm sure Morgan expressed some ambition.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure he really wanted to be someday the head coach at Utah. And I don't know what went into that, but those situations all of a sudden get delicate. Whether Morgan wanted to or not, he was placed in a him or me situation. And I don't know what went into that. I have no idea. But Kyle Whittingham, we know, did not come out feeling real great about things. And whether he deserves it or not, I bet Morgan's wrapped up in that somehow.
I might feel better if Morgan was weaselly about it.
What do you mean feel better?
Like Morgan's approach more.
If he were just a slime ball?
Yeah, if Morgan was a total dirtbag about it, which everyone I've ever met, you certainly know Morgan way better than I do. I know you've worked with him. I've never worked with him. I've talked to him 24 times in my life, covering practices and stuff. But everyone I've ever known just like swears by Morgan Scalley. Everyone's just like really good guy. Everyone really trusts him and likes him. Players certainly really love him. Utah trusted their program to him. He's got a lot of, thumbs up from people, a lot of votes of approval. I would love if secretly he was actually just like the slimiest dude and got Whitt fired and now talks in the third person and is just a total high-level college sleazebag the way most of these coaches are at the highest level. Like the total anti- Kalani Sitake.
You wish he were Will Wade.
Yeah, exactly right. It would be such a funny change of character once he gets the spotlight and the power and the paycheck if he becomes the worst guy. I would like that better for me as a storyline guy. But again, I'm the only guy in town who liked that Mark Harlan kicked the door in after the BYU loss. But I think the storyline would be fun.
Morgan's also, in these circumstances, certainly smart enough to say the right thing, and that's the right thing to say. I don't know about going third person. But, he talked about the players that left for Michigan, and he talked about the coaches that left for Michigan, and he said he doesn't blame Kyle, that Kyle leaned into what he knows, and that was those players and those coaches, and took that to Michigan, which I can't blame the dude for either. That super high road of Morgan Scalley to take, which is good for him. I'm sure he was not pleased when Smith Snowden told him he was leaving.
Harlan didn't take the high road.
Did not take the high road.
Right.
The high road was the best. Was really the only way Morgan could go. Because he's just, in all honesty, he's just not a bitter dude.
Yeah.
He is definitely, I know he can get a little animated on the sidelines, but he's definitely a brighter side of life type of guy. Which I think translates well into a coach. And
it's really worked for Kalani.
Yeah, it really has. And Morgan will play it to his benefit in the coaching world. But
Kalani has lost players to Utah, never been spiteful towards them.
But Whitt puts chips on.
At least not publicly.
Whitt puts chips on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm. That's his edge.
That's his edge.
Yeah.
And he holds grudges, and his family is super outspoken about it. And that's him. And we'll see how it goes at Michigan. But I don't think he's rooting for Morgan.
No, Whitt will not.
If you want to talk about a rosy outcome where reconciliation is made, if Morgan wins, that's even less likely to happen.
The most likely scenario where Utah and Kyle Whittingham have a happy ending sooner rather than later is if Whitt goes and wins a national championship at Michigan and retires on top, and then comes and moves back to Salt Lake City and retires wherever he wants to retire, and Morgan has some success, enough to get Utah fans on board to forgive Kyle, which I think is a ludicrous thing to say, but welcome him back into the culture or atmosphere or whatever you want to call it.
He comes back like Ronnie Mack and does practices and wears the Ute gear and all that stuff.
Whitt's got his national championship ring and can say, look, I made the right choice by moving and stealing all these players. That was the right thing because I wanted a level I never could do. And cute, Morgan, I'm glad you still got this little program I helped build, but I won with Big Blue. This is my team that I won with at Michigan. That's the soonest I could see it happening.
I think some people not named Morgan would have to not be there.
Well, that's going to happen soon too.
Well, but not just the athletic director. I would guess that there's some hard feelings toward the administration.
Sure, of course.
Because the administration could make the athletic director do whatever they want.
But I don't get the impression that Mark Harlan, Dr. Chris Hill was on our station for an hour today, live in studio with DJ and PK. Like, I don't think Mark Harlan is planting roots here the way Chris Hill did.
Yeah, you're saying he may take another job? Because I do think his fate is linked to Morgan's.
I wouldn't even say that's true. Meaning I could see him leaving regardless of what happens with Morgan.
Well, if Morgan succeeds and he takes a different job, maybe so. But if Morgan fails, they'll go out together.
I think that's probably fair, for sure. But I think there's an out for Mark Harlan one way or another.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We've seen some ADs at Utah State kind of stay longer than they wanted to.
Yeah.
But I think there would have to be some changes before Whitt would embrace Utah again.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And by the way, I don't know if that's justified or not. In his mind, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Or so it would seem. I'm sure, Mark Harlan or whoever up at Utah would tell you something different.
And Whitt is stubborn, to put it nicely.
So I don't know. But Morgan's smart to say those things about Whitt, I'll tell you that.
Yes. Morgan will have more success in the Kalani mold than the Whitt mold.
Now, I am kind of with you. I'd rather see him go double barrel. And
Sam.
So we're sitting here barbecuing him today about harshing
Makes
on
our
young
show
people.
Easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kalani and Morgan being nice and saying the right thing does not make for better radio.
No.
Unfortunately. But you know what they could do, which makes for good radio? Good football teams. Go win. Guys, go make the 29-team college football playoff every year. It's going to be easier to talk about the teams.
I don't know. Drama is pretty easy to talk about.
Sure, but you don't last very long.
Well,
this game was absolutely stolen from us. We were excited about being in Big 12, but tonight I am not.
See, that was after a loss for them. And that dominated the next day.
You know what the best thing we could get is Morgan winning at Utah, but also talking about himself in the third person.
All the time?
Because we would play that quote. Every time he says it, we would play the quote. I want Pete to release the audio of Morgan calling himself Morgan Scalley. Because I would love that.
Have you ever talked about yourself in the third person?
I've not.
Are you sure?
No, not sure. But maybe in this situation. And look, again, I don't pretend to know Morgan as well as a lot of people here locally. But I, like everybody, can hear exactly what Morgan Scalley said here. I can hear his voice and his cadence deliver this exact line. He believed in me. I have nothing but respect and love for the man. But if there's any misconception that Morgan Scalley had anything to do with pushing him out, there's no way. And he's kind of always laughing at the end of his sentences. We know how Morgan talks. I can see how he would throw his name in there in the perception of somebody else viewing it from the outside. I don't think he actually is going, who's the most famous third person?
Karl Malone's up there.
Karl Malone had it. George W. Bush do it? No, H.W. Second time we talked about him. Regardless. Yeah, Mailman's up there. The people who have said it, I don't think Morgan's going to lean into that. Damian Lillard does it now.
I picture Ben doing that like while talking to his kids. Like, you're never going to be a Ben Anderson, but son, I need you to be better in school.
There's only a couple of Ben Andersons in this world, and you ain't one of them. But I'm proud of you anyways.
Dad, my name's not even Ben.
I know you both won't live up to the standard that Ben Anderson sets.
Ben Anderson set a high standard for this family.
But I expect you to do better in school.
I still love you.
No?
No.
You should start.
Yeah, it'd be awkward.
No, I think you could really lean into it. I mean, it's kind of
Bob Dole, by the way. Bob Dole talked about
Bob
himself
Dole
in the first person,
did.
not HW.
Because didn't SNL do a skit where he fell asleep saying Bob Dole?
Bob Dole. Yeah. Great first person name. Third person name. Bob Dole, easy to say.
Hey, okay. The odds before we ask that Christian has any idea who Bob Dole is.
Oh.
Don't Google it. Nope, don't do it.
No.
No. Okay, so that's 100% right there.
How old were you aware of Dukakis?
Yeah.
Okay. You are old enough to be aware of Dukakis.
I was?
I was not. I'm about 4 years younger than you are, though, and that's like the age gap there. But Dukakis, I think, technically ran during my lifetime. No, he must have not run during my lifetime because I was born during Reagan. So I was not.
Dukakis ran in 88.
Okay, so I was. I was 2 years old. Bob Dole went up against, he was the Republican nominee for president in 1996.
Longtime senator.
Yeah. Kind of a legendary
Cool
senator.
guy or no?
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of like an old war hero, right?
I mean, definitely one of the blander people that have run for president, I would say. Yeah, had an issue, had to hold a pencil in his left arm all the time because I don't remember exactly what, it was a neurological issue, I think. I can't remember. Somebody will tell us.
Do you remember John Kerry, Christian? John Kerry was in your life.
Jim Carrey, the Grinch?
John Kerry and Bob Dole were like the opposite party, but the same people.
Yeah.
Just kind of old dudes.
Bland.
Yeah, it's kind of bland old dudes. Wonder why they lost.
Kerry was only the nominee because that one governor lost his mind for that one split second. Yeah.
Politics are great.
Great. But yeah, Bob Dole was on the bland side.
Yeah, for sure. And old.
At the time, he was old.
Mm-hmm.
But then again,
So he talked about himself in third person, or was that only SNL?
No, he called himself Bob Dole.
Yeah. Ben Anderson thinks you should pack your lunch today. Ben Anderson thinks you're going to be late for the bus. All right, stay tuned. More next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is sharing the message that connection is crucial because good relationships are an essential and sometimes overlooked component of mental well-being. If your relationships could use some strengthening, a licensed therapist from Talkspace can help. Therapy can help you communicate better with loved ones, repair conflicts, and understand how to address loneliness and build community. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a therapist within 2 days. You'll meet with your therapist online on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make personal connections a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
Catch the NBA playoffs on Sling TV, the most flexible live TV streaming service, putting consumers in control to watch games their way with flexible subscriptions. Want to catch one game or a full series on ESPN? Grab a 1, 3, or 7-day pass. If you want to catch as many games as possible, get a monthly subscription with our ABC, NBC, and ESPN combo package. Either way, Sling lets you watch the playoffs your way with no long-term contracts. Learn more at sling.com.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Ben, right now this is kind of a story, non-story, but the Pac-12 and the Mountain West Conference have settled their law disputes. No, I say non-story because we have no idea what that settlement is.
And we knew this was coming. It's just kind of the paperwork that needed to be filed before we do find out the resolution here. But a joint statement issued today from the Pac-12 and the Mountain West Conference. Pac-12 Conference, the Mountain West Conference, and Boise State University, Utah State University, the Board of Governors, the Colorado State University system for the benefit of Colorado State University, the Board of Trustees for CSU, that's California State University, San Diego State, Cal State, Fresno have reached an agreement in principle to resolve the pending lawsuits. The parties have agreed to stay the lawsuits in California and Colorado while they work to negotiate and finalize the settlement. This is about the fees that these schools owe leaving the Mountain West Conference from the Pac-12, or to pay
the Mountain West
from the Pac-12 to pay the Mountain West. Yes, to leave the G5 and go to a differently named G5 conference.
Now, what I would like to know, well, first of all, I'd like to know the figure. But one thing I do know, Ben, is that none of those schools can afford it. So I want to know how much Oregon State and Washington State are going to pony up the dough to cover this stuff. Because they got the leftovers from the Pac-12, remember?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about all the money in the bank. They have a war chest.
There were payouts from NCAA tournament runs, from college football playoff appearances, if I remember correctly.
There were exit fees.
Yeah, there were exit fees. They got a haul.
They got a haul. We should go back and look at what the figure was, but it was significant. Utah State and the like needs to twist some arms, and maybe they already did the twisting. That those two schools need to cover some of the exit fee. I'll be curious if we ever learn about that or if that is ever a thing. But they've got a bunch of dough. They should be helping these schools out. I mean, Utah State is a public university here in Utah. We know their budget. They're not swimming in dough. They can't afford whatever $1 million to pay to the Mountain West. Meanwhile, poor Gloria Navarez, that job just isn't the same as the one she took.
I got a job, and then everybody left. I went to the party, and then I was the last one at the party. It looked like about $29 million each.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
To get out?
That Washington State and Oregon State each got.
Right. I was going to say,
in payouts.
That seems really
steep. I don't think you guys can afford that. They made about $65 million combined.
So they should probably cover some of that.
I would imagine, because they need to have a home.
And Utah State, Boise State, all these schools saved Washington State and Oregon State. This was their power move.
Correct.
Instead of folding themselves into the Mountain West, which is what I still wish would have happened.
Probably would have been easier.
They pirated the league.
Oregon State and Washington State paid kids to walk home with them from school.
Right.
And these are the kids.
So you hope they get paid anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth the straight jump if they have to pay whatever $1 million it is to get out.
Yeah.
They certainly have better things to do than cover that at the moment.
Christian, how many kids you pay to walk home from school with you?
Whoa, what grade? Total?
Total. We're talking about net.
Christian didn't walk home from school.
Yeah, you couldn't where he lived. It's too dangerous. Too many kids disappearing in Brigham City.
Did you walk home from school or did you get a ride?
No, I walked to the bus stop.
Okay. Uphill both ways?
Yeah.
Snowing constantly?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm curious to see what, this final figure is, because I don't think there's a lot of money to go around. I don't think anyone has a lot of money right now in college football. It's all getting paid out to whatever players you do have, if you can do any.
Oh, yeah, if you can do any.
Yeah, so I don't know. This whole thing feels like a Ponzi scheme to me.
I don't think the school, Utah State, the school, is paying anybody.
Yeah, I agree. They've got some donors that are giving a little bit of money here and there.
And that's it.
As much as they can.
Well, they took the buyout from the coach, and maybe they're paying a couple of players with that. But from what we could tell, the school itself is not paying anybody.
Agreed.
And by the way, they didn't have the budget to do it. That's something that totally goes under talked about with the, you've got 20 whatever $1 million. How many schools are actually doing it?
Yeah.
Because the budgets, that has to come out of their budget. They're not going to stop spending somewhere else.
If my current lifestyle was changed and the U.S. government said, oh, by the way, you have to pay your kids now to be your kids. Like, well, I already have a 13 and a 10-year-old. What do you mean? I have to pay them? Like, yeah, full salaries to be people's. I can't afford that. What do you mean? This is not the system I bought into.
Yeah.
Or Ray brought these kids into. And now you're changing it? And that's what Utah State is. Like, what do you mean? We gave them scholarships. We set up dorms. We had classes for them. They just came and played football, and we traded them an education for this. They're like, oh, no, it's millions of dollars now
you have to
also.
give them $1 million.
I don't have that. Right. Yeah, some of these schools just don't have it.
Well, you do if you close up a bunch of programs. Which did you read about that over the weekend?
I saw what you talking about, Arkansas?
There were a bunch of schools that closed a bunch of programs, or at least it was reported on over the weekend.
I didn't see the new ones.
I'd have to go back and find it.
But I know Arkansas had closed men's and women's tennis, and then a groundswell of support brought them back, like through donors believing that they want to have tennis back at Arkansas. So some have come back, but again, I think it's based solely on donations. It's not money they have in their pockets as a school.
Nope.
Boy, this thing's falling apart quick, it seems.
Yeah, terrific.
Really well done.
But for Utah State, that number will matter. How much is it? And how much are the Beavs going to cover? Because their old AD's still up there, right? Is it Scott Barnes still up in Oregon State?
Man, is it still Scott Barnes? That's a throwback name.
Scott, how much you going to cover of this, dude? We know you're swimming in dough up there.
Am I? He's going to say no. They're going to want him to say yes.
I'm sure those promises were made before Utah State left.
Had to be some of it. We will help with your buyout.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have more Jake and Ben coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The 4 o'clock hour is here.
It's fun time!
And you're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Being around these young guys, Cody Williams is from Arizona. Ace Bailey's from Chattanooga. Went to small part of New Jersey for college. I think there are kids who are just fine saying, Shea's getting his in Oklahoma City. I just want to carve out a niche where I can get one.
That's what I'm saying. I think the priorities have changed a little bit.
Yeah, which credit those kids. What they've been peddled or what maybe previous generations have been peddled does not have to be the truth. All of those little pieces help. And I think changing it and the Jazz maybe being good enough next year to justify some of it, I think would be a good sign.
This is Jake and Ben on 97.5. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. So.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. How did I not know this? Donovan Mitchell is engaged? Who's
to a Grammy singer.
Yeah, Coco Jones. Is she relevant?
She's a Grammy Award winner.
Pretty sure we've talked about it on the show.
Have we?
Yeah.
I had a story that went very viral. It's one of our biggest stories we've ever had at KSL Sports.
Engaged to a pop singer.
She was sitting right under the basket. He gave her a big old smooch right after.
The NBA tweeted out a video of her cheering for him. Good for him. Donovan found love. Even more reason they're going to mop the floor with the dang Knicks.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Donovan's going for it.
Going to the finals.
Donovan! I know you want my Knicks pick to be wrong. Pick Knicks before the season.
I picked Cavs before the season.
Yeah, we got a lot on the line
That's
now.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
Go Cavs.
I'm a bit curious. I'm really heavily picking the Knicks, and the Knicks are a much better team, but I could be wrong.
They haven't played anybody, so we'll see how it goes.
Correct. It's the East. No one's played anybody.
Well, Philly is particularly nobody. They shouldn't have gotten out of the first round.
Who did they beat in the first round?
Old
Philly
Boston,
beat Boston.
who imploded.
Who did the Knicks beat in the first round?
Hot Atlanta.
Beat them by 50 in that final game. Yeah. Okay.
That's when we found out about Captain.
You're right. This is a much tougher test for the Knicks than what the Cavs have faced. Cavs should be a little bit more playoff tested. Back-to-back Game 7s to win to get here.
Yeah, well, they're a better team than Atlanta and Philly. I don't even think that's that much of a hot take. Doesn't even have to be Tuesday.
No, I think you're right.
But we did find out Quinn Snyder's nickname in the Knicks-Atlanta series,
You're right.
which was the best thing about the Hawks in that series.
It's the only thing we got.
No treasure in silver and gold, mate.
It's the only thing we got from the Hawks in that series.
That's an awesome nickname for Quinn Snyder. Who hates nicknames?
Yeah, we'll take it.
Do you think he'll cut C.J. McCollum just because of that?
Yeah, CJ's career's over. He's going to be playing in China next year. Yeah, I forgot that the Cavs had to beat the Raptors in Game 7 as well. Now, they came back and won at home in Game 7, but that's a lot of games to play. They played 14 games. Knicks have played... They swept Philly in the second round. They've been off for, it seems like, a week and a half now. And then, 6 games to beat the Hawks? 5 games to beat the Hawks? So, must have been 6 because they beat them, I think, in Atlanta to close it out. So, they've played 10 games to the 14 for the Cavaliers. I'm not sure that's a big deal at this point. It's going to come down to depth, though, and you know, who plays better between Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson. And it's pretty evenly matched. Those two players are quite similar.
I don't think Donovan Mitchell is stopping Jalen, nor vice versa.
Correct.
Oh, Donovan!
Who will be guarding Jalen, I think, is a different story.
And who's guarding Donovan?
Yeah, I don't think they'll spend much time guarding one another.
No,
if
certainly
I had,
not.
If I had to make it.
And they should both average 27, 28 points a game.
And the Knicks, their overall defensive rating was really good this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were like third, right?
Uh-huh.
So it was really good. So maybe this point is a moot one. But listening to Sam Merrill earlier today on the station, he was talking about how difficult it was to play against Toronto and Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually made it seem like Toronto might have even been the more physical team than Detroit was, which, you know, you were talking about Duran. Maybe there's some truth to that because he didn't really show up in that series. But maybe going up against the Knicks, who are not quite as tough as those two teams
at all,
might be one of those things that could be kind of advantage Cleveland, like swinging with the donut in the batter circle.
It's a breath of fresh air.
Where they're not going to quite have as difficult a time. Now, that's selling Bridges and Hart and these good defenders a little bit short, I know. And there's a reason that the Knicks were top 5 defensively in the league. So maybe this, like I said, is a moot point. But I think it's key for Mobley and for Jared Allen to make life as difficult as Karl Anthony Towns as humanly possible, and that's the weak link, I would say, with New York.
If the Cavaliers win, it will be because either or both Jared Allen and Evan Mobley have a big series and hurt Cat. Cat should be extraordinarily exploitable in the playoffs.
In this series, you would think so.
Yes, if you have a big man who wants to play like a big man, Cat will acquiesce. He's not going to be able to defend the pick and roll. He's never done that particularly well. He can really torch you offensively. But if you want to attack the rim, which Jarrett did amazingly well yesterday, you can win the series.
You're going to take back all the bad things you said about him?
I just said I didn't think he was like a top 10 center in the NBA. Last night, he was by far the best center on the floor.
I don't remember it like that, Christian. Do you? I think he was clowning him up and down the radio.
Like that?
Said he shouldn't even be in the league.
You said he stinks, I'm pretty sure.
You did.
My wife loves Jared Allen because he was really nice to her at a rookie symposium or rookie Rising Stars challenge. So she's a big JA fan, just like you. He's like a nice guy. You heard his voice after. He's a dork.
I'm pretty sure he was listening to the show.
Maybe. And
he did to you what J.J. Paterka did to Cole Bagley. Oh, no, it was Mackenzie Weegar.
Yeah,
That's right.
Mackenzie
It wasn't Paterka. It was Weegar. What Mackenzie Weegar did to Cole Bagley. Jared Allen was like,
Ben doesn't think I'm good?
Angie's husband is off his rocker. I'm gonna go put this team out of the playoffs.
Jared Allen in the playoffs so far, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist. But was really great last night. I mean, they needed a number 2 to step up, and Jared Allen was that number 2.
Well, he has a chance in this series to make a big impact. We'll see if he does. Jalen Duren had a chance to make a big impact against Cleveland, and he did not.
Absolutely failed.
So, I don't know. Both conference finals should be pretty good.
Yeah, this is what I think you would hope for.
From a game standpoint, I'm not with you on the East has a chance in the finals. I don't think.
I wouldn't pick either of them.
No.
But these two teams are going to absolutely maul each other in the West.
It might be the worst finals we've seen since LeBron made it the first time.
And lost to the Spurs?
I think they got swept, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. It could be, certainly. Could be. I guess it matters if the Spurs make it out. I don't think the Spurs sweep if they make it to the finals. Thunder, I guess, conceivably probably could. But they're a bad matchup with the Spurs specifically. But, yeah, I like the storylines in both of these. In the West, there's a real question of who's the best player in the world. Shea just won MVP, his second MVP, won that yesterday. And Wemby, to my surprise, finished third. He actually finished behind Nikola Jokic, I believe, who got second place. I was surprised Wemby fell all the way to 3 there. I thought he deserved to be number 2. And then in the East, it will be Donovan Mitchell and the Knicks. I mean, that's the conversation. Donovan is a New York guy, and that's not going to go away. And I do think there is a world where actually it's worse for the Cavs that they are now going to feel somewhat obligated to pay James Harden for the long term. James Harden is usually better to date rather than to marry.
Well, how dumb are the Cavs? Dumb enough to make the trade in the first place, I guess.
Yeah.
Because can you really? What is he? Does he have a player option this year, or is he a free agent?
I think he has an option, so he could opt out. And he's going to threaten, I'm going to opt out unless you give me an extension.
And it'll be one of those things where you can only go over the cap to re-sign your own player, and you're not going to let him go out the door for nothing.
Right. You've got his bird rights, so you might as well pay him.
Well, bird rights disappear after you leave your first team, right? Or
no, you can acquire bird rights. You have to be there for, maybe they don't, because I think he has to be there for a year.
I think you do too, but bird rights in this case don't matter because he's not going to get a max deal. And he's not.
But they are over the cap.
But you can go over the cap to sign your own players, so they can sign their own free agent, even though they are over the cap.
Which is bird rights.
They could not sign a free agent
otherwise. Yes, he's got a $42 million player option. He might just pick that up. That's a ton of money.
Well, yeah, but he's a clutch guy, so maybe he's going to twist some arms.
But he would probably rather have 3 years and $90 million.
Yeah. The Cavs wouldn't.
That's probably the offer. I mean, James might say, give me 3 years and 90, and they say, go find your $30 million on the market, and he probably won't be able to because nobody has salary cap space unless he's like just willing to go to Chicago or something crazy, which maybe he is, just to say, I'm a mercenary, I'm trying to make as much money as possible. That might be what he cares about.
But would Chicago want him?
No, I wouldn't think so. I don't think anyone's going to want him other than the Cavs, and he'll probably end up, maybe he picks up that $40 million option. We'll see. Those get tricky. It's really a weird spot for the Cavs to be in. But they just made the conference finals and are going to feel obligated to keep this roster together, I think.
Well, yeah, I think the talk of trading Donovan Mitchell will quiet. Maybe a sign-in trade for James Harden? I don't know. Because what do they do when this fails to get it over the hump? Because whatever, it's going to fail. I mean, you can call it fool's gold. Do you keep moving? I mean, you're in the position where, Kevin O'Connor was back with the Boozer Darren Williams era, where do you just run it back, or do you tinker, or do you even have the ability to tinker, which is what we're talking about. Because if you keep James Harden, you just don't have the ability to do anything else.
You're exactly right. I mean, this is where Danny Ainge and Ryan Smith and Justin Zanuck decided the Jazz were, which is, again, I really highly do recommend listening to the Bill Simmons and Ryan Smith conversation from last week as soon as our show ends, where Ryan breaks down exactly the conversation he had with Danny Ainge, which was, how much further do you want to cut into your assets going forward to keep Donovan and Rudy together? How much are you willing to continue to hemorrhage, essentially, to try and keep this group together? And it kind of sounded like Danny was saying, Ryan, this team will never be good enough. You can keep investing, but you're just putting more Band-Aids on a fatal wound. And Ryan listened and said, "Okay, we got to lop off the leg. We have to save the patient, but it's going to be really painful." And they did. And now they're back to being a team that looks like it's very promising. And Cleveland is now at the point where, even though they just had their best win since LeBron left, there is still a wound that is bleeding. And are they going to continue to be able to put Band-Aids on it? Because, to your point, like you said earlier, while I would give them 10% chance of winning the finals, 5% chance of winning the finals from where they are today, just because injuries happen and things do happen, once you get to the summer, if you don't win the finals, your team's going to get worse, inevitably.
You talking about team building, you know what it reminded me of? Or, rebooting it and going back. It reminded me of the Three Amigos. That one scene where, who is it, who's locked up in chains and gonna make it? Uh-huh. Gonna make it? Uh-huh. Gonna make it? And then gives up and goes all the way back.
Did you watch the Martin Short documentary on Netflix?
No, is it good?
Yeah, it's good. I watched it yesterday.
He's very funny.
He's great. It's very charming. It's a really easy watch. It's not a tragedy. There's sadness. His wife dies and stuff. There's things like that. But it's pretty
like
easy.
that?
It's a pretty good watch.
Gonna make it?
I'd recommend it.
Gonna make it?
That was his first movie. I didn't know that.
Really?
That's what he says.
Jeez, home run right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm. And they talk about what a failure it was.
Not his best movie, but still a classic.
So I'll be curious if...
You shot the invisible swordsman.
I will be curious what...
We fired up.
Cleveland feels like they have to do. Because had they lost last night, we're probably talking about a team with a different perspective on itself. And that might be the real flaw in how teams operate.
Mm-hmm.
Did last night really change a whole lot? You beat a Pistons team that's extraordinarily flawed, that at the trade deadline also basically made a coin toss and said, what should we do? Should we go out and add a piece, or should we sit on our hands and see actually how good we are? And they realized they're good enough to get to the second round of the playoffs and not good enough to advance past it. Even with home court advantage, even with the top record in the East, they were not better than the number 4 team in the Eastern Conference, which means you're probably about the number 4 team in the Eastern Conference. So do you need to go add a piece this offseason? That was a decision that Detroit made. Cleveland benefited from that by beating Detroit. But they're going to base their team-building future now off of getting to this point, and I don't want to say arbitrarily, but maybe a little bit arbitrarily.
Well, they're going to beat the Knicks.
You think they're going to beat the Knicks?
They're going to be in the finals.
And look, if you make the finals, I totally endorse keeping your roster together. If you don't, I'm not sure I change a whole lot of what my perspective was. But this is the argument you always make, and I think it's the smart one. If you're going into a season saying, well, this coach has to do X, Y, and Z, otherwise we're firing him, just fire your coach. You've got the wrong guy.
Yeah, you're talking yourself into it.
If you are talking yourself into if we make the Eastern Conference Finals, then we have the right roster, you probably don't believe you have the right roster.
But you will do that for the finals?
I think the finals are close enough to winning a title that you think you can continue to compete. The further you get, the more I do believe it. If it was just, is Donovan the right guy? We got to get to the conference finals. He's never gotten there before. I've seen enough fluky conference finals teams. There's not a lot of fluky finals teams.
Sure there are.
Are there?
Yeah, the Knicks?
When?
When they were the 8th seed.
Yeah, they beat the Miami Heat. That was the 1 seed. They took the Rockets to Game 7.
Okay.
That's not fluky.
It
Go to
is
Game
fluky.
7? No, it might probably more fluky that you ended up at 8 than it is fluky you get to the finals. I'm more likely to believe that. The Miami Heat as the 8th seed getting to the finals in the bubble, fluky. That's the bubble.
Well, the Miami Heat team that got to the finals outside of the bubble was super fluky, too.
Which one?
The last time they went to the finals, who they play? They got...
Golden State?
I'd have to go back and look.
Did they lose one to Golden State?
I think it was the Nuggets, right?
Yeah, they lost to the Nuggets. You're right. That wasn't it.
That wasn't in the bubble.
Did they make 2 different finals?
They did. So does that cancel each other out?
Yeah,
They
then that
both
can't be fluky.
They were
You
both
can't make the finals twice and be
2
fluky.
finals runs
They were
within
both.
like 3 years?
No, that's a great team.
The
It's
bubble
a
doesn't
very
count.
good team.
And
then they proved it outside of the bubble. So no, I'm disregarding that
through
being
a
fluky.
ridiculously terrible East again, an underperforming Bucks team and all that stuff.
Sure.
And then they lost to the Nuggets, who honestly weren't the greatest title-winning team either.
I think they lost in 5. But
so yeah, there's fluky teams that get there 100%.
Less inclined to believe that. And there are way
Chris
more
Paul's
that make
Suns team was super fluky with DeAndre Ayton as their center.
They beat the Jazz, or they beat the. Who did they beat in route? They beat the Nuggets, and then they beat the Clippers because the Clippers beat the Jazz to get to the conference finals. Must have been.
Mm-hmm.
And then they beat them, and then made the finals and beat the Heat.
And that was a super fluky season.
That was the year after COVID. That was a weird season. That was a little extraordinary. I'm less inclined to believe the teams fluke into the finals. A lot of teams fluke into the conference finals. And I'm not saying Cleveland even fluked into the conference finals. In fact, there was a good quote last night from Kenny Atkinson talking about how this team, he doesn't say they weren't fluky, but he does describe why they made the finals, and he gives specifically a lot of credit to Donovan Mitchell. I thought this was interesting.
We lost. We turned to you. Not just your on-court, but your leadership and your positivity when things were really not going great. And so whether we won or lost tonight, we never celebrate you in these things. You don't want that. You don't want the praise. But tonight, you deserve the praise. And you're going home. And you deserve this more than everybody. Everybody played great. Come on, man. Let's go.
Hey, enjoy it. Yeah. But like, we didn't just come here just to do this. We play Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? So like, till tomorrow, till we land. Enjoy it, and we.
So Kenny Atkinson there praising Donovan Mitchell. And I do think that happens, and I think that is interesting, where we see a team underachieve and then reach the promised land or whatever, that next feat, the next year. Sometimes you do have to go through those lulls. And last year they won 64 games or whatever it was, and then didn't get swept by the Pacers, but lost quickly to the Pacers in the playoffs, lost their first 2 games at home in the second round, and Indiana goes to the finals. And then they make it back in the next season. And Kenny Atkinson crediting Donovan's leadership, I think, is probably a sign of growth for Donovan, because I'm not sure that's what you were going to do here.
Do you think Kenny felt like he had to do that?
He's on TV.
I just can't see Greg Popovich saying that about Tim Duncan.
Maybe. I could maybe see him saying
I couldn't see Phil saying that even about Michael Jordan.
Okay. I do think...
I'm just saying, can
I tell you what the difference is?
He said about Donovan that you don't like it. Yes, he does.
Yeah, Donovan likes it more than anybody.
Yes, he does. That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
Do you feel like, I got to go out and really fluff this guy up because...
Well, yes, because there was a real conversation that Kenny was going to get fired after this season if they didn't have more success, because, as we've talked about a lot, they're pretty strapped. They don't have a lot of other pathways to go. They don't have a lot of other directions to improve their roster, and the logical one that doesn't apply to the cap is fire your coach. And there was some talk that Kenny could be out. You're not going to fire your coach after he makes the conference finals. So, yes, I'm sure Kenny, while he says, thank you, Donovan, for getting us here, he's probably saying thank you for saving my job because you made me look smart, which I think is probably true.
I don't know. When the Bulls beat the Cavs, that was a second-round matchup, right? When Michael Jordan hit the shot over Craig Elo. Or not Craig Elo. Craig Elo.
Yeah.
I believe that was the second round. Could you see Phil Jackson being like, he's made it all the detractors and what they said about you. I know you don't like the attention.
I think it was Doug Collins.
You're amazing.
And I can absolutely see Doug Collins saying
Maybe
that because
Doug
also
Collins.
Doug Collins was about to get fired. So yeah, I can absolutely see Doug Collins doing it. Maybe if you have job security, you don't have to say that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Doug Collins running around, yeah.
It just seemed like, wasn't Kenny laying it on a little thick
Absolutely
there?
he was.
Didn't that feel like
and
he was?
this isn't the... Sometimes these videos leak, and it's from like the security camera inside. No, this is a handheld. Like you can see the camera shaking around. He knows Jeff Bezos is standing behind him with that Amazon camera watching. So yes, this was his chance to give a post-game speech crediting Donovan. I don't like that he says you get to go home because they're talking about not going to Cleveland, they're talking about going to New York. Now you get to go play at home. I'm trying to separate that out from Donovan.
Oh, the place he tried to force his way to for years?
Several times.
Isn't he from Connecticut?
He's actually from Connecticut, yeah, but grew up in New York. So,
it's not exactly Queens.
But Kenny is laying the storyline down already.
Yeah. Okay. Good for you, Kenny.
Got another year.
Got to get your team ready to go.
Got another $7 or $8 million next season. Because you won Game 7. I'd be thrilled too.
I just know if you were on TV talking about me, it would sound a lot different than when you were off the air.
I would say I was the most important reason we got here.
No, that's your on the
Ben
air
Anderson,
or off the air?
On air.
On air.
I'm going third person. I knew Ben Anderson could do it, and Ben Anderson delivered. We're going
like Ben Anderson does every time.
Eastern Conference Finals.
Stay tuned. More Jake and Ben coming up next. We'll talk Cavs with a radio show host. Let me grab his name. Apologies. Nick Wilson, Cleveland sports radio host, starting at 5 o'clock, 5:05. Stay tuned. More Jake and Ben next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Not only do these guys give you the best jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Why does everybody have a naked friend? Why is that a thing?
I don't think we need to make it a thing on the show.
Okay, just saying. You were asking why were they always naked in their music videos? And it was like, well, Flea was always naked for the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
He was more in the briefs, right?
I don't know. I think he kind of did everything. But everybody had a naked friend. I don't know why. And nobody is the naked friend, but everybody had one. How's that possible?
Somebody's lying.
Somebody's lying. But I was not it. You were not it. Christian was not it. That leaves Lloyd.
I'm not speculating on Salazar's personal life. Okay. I'm just not going to come along with it. I don't want to know, frankly.
Yeah.
When do those people grow out of it?
No, they go to prison.
Lloyd just said no.
No?
Yeah, they go to jail.
Well, you think about those music videos. They're running around town
nude
in the buff.
Yeah.
That would land you in prison, no?
Now.
I think back then, too.
Late 90s, it was totally cool.
I don't think it was.
No? I was young.
I did have a buddy who streaked through the library in college.
Knew a couple of kids at Highland who streaked from the third floor down, which was impressive.
But we all agree that those people should be beaten up, right? Even my buddy.
I don't know if any of them turned out well.
Certainly the people that do it at sporting events.
At least your friend was already in college when that happened.
Yeah, right.
It's a good sign.
Yeah. I guess. Again, I'm totally uncomfortable with this conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
Ben, I get it that the Locked On Wizards guy created a lot of waves in the Jazz Talk Snap world over the weekend by basically saying the Jazz should give up the 2 pick and Ace Bailey and a future first if they're going to move up to number 1. I guess we talked about this a little bit last week, but that still seems to be pretty wild to me. Why would the Jazz do that?
I don't think there's a huge reason. I mean, here's where you could get to on draft night. And again, it's where the logic just really kind of falls apart for me when you break it down. If the Jazz get to June 23rd, it's a Tuesday, it's midday, the Jazz say, oh no, the lottery or the draft is 6 hours away. And we do not like the medicals of Darren Peterson, and we don't think Cam Boozer's a good value bet at 2. We don't think that's a worthwhile number 2 overall pick. You're better off spending some assets and moving up to 1 to get that pick, to get A.J. DiBonsa, not because he's a BYU guy, but because you think he's such a good player, and you don't trust Darren, and you don't think Boozer's a value pick, then maybe you trade up to 1. But at that problem, why would Washington move back to 2? Like, if the Jazz don't trust Darren, they're not going to be the only team. These teams have medical doctors that see the same things. Maybe they see something different, but, a lot of guys, the Jazz passed on Cam Whitmore. So did 10 other teams, 15 other teams. That's why he fell to 20. It wasn't like one team saw something. It wasn't that he was reportedly vaping during a draft workout. Teams care about that, but
they come to different conclusions on that.
They can come to different conclusions. So. The Jazz, and this is something that doesn't happen anymore, but the Jazz had Rodney Hood's medical report and nobody else did. And my suspicion is it's because they had connections to Duke through Captain Jack that other teams did not. And the Jazz were comfortable taking Rodney Hood, I think because of his feet. I think he had a foot issue stemming from Mississippi State and transferring to Duke. Or maybe it was a back even. And the Jazz said, no, you got a green light from us.
I think it was his foot.
And that was before the NBA regulated how medical reports were dispersed. The NBA now regulates how medical reports are dispersed. And my suspicion is the NBA has doctors that see them and then say, this is our findings, and here's the reports, and you can have your doctors look at the same findings. But I suspect you get a more consistent or a larger consensus on health for players now maybe than you once did because you get to see, everyone gets to see everything. At least the top 10 teams get to see the top 5 players, and then the top 30 teams get to see the next 20 players or whatever it is.
But here's my point. Creatine cramps aren't a thing. So what does that show up on a medical?
That is the interesting
You
thing.
have to make the evaluation. The different teams make it differently. Joel Embiid fell to 4.
Mm-hmm.
Philly got Joel Embiid because they were willing to take that risk, and it paid off. Who was the center who was coming out of UConn, national champion, Emeka Okafor, that the Bobcats took, and he was total damaged goods. But they took the risk. They said, oh, we're going to ignore that. We're going to make our own calculated decision, and it was not the right one. So I would disagree that all teams are going to make the same conclusions. I just wouldn't let Washington hold A.J. DiBonsa ransom, period, end of story. That's how you become the Pigeon. That's how you become the 76ers and get Markelle Fultz and give up multiple picks for the pleasure.
Your favorite line. Desperation is a stinky cologne.
It is.
It's a bad one to wear.
No.
And the Jazz should not find themselves desperate.
Nope. Don't let another franchise hold you hostage. You sell, and because I'm sure they are. If Darren Peterson falls to them at 2, I'm sure they're more than happy to draft him. If he's the best player in the draft, which a lot of people think,
right?
But people are getting scared away by the creatine cramps, and you feel like he's the best player, go ahead and take him. And that's Washington's fault for passing on the dude. Essentially you call their bluff, right? Like, we're more than happy to pick somebody else at 2. And maybe it is Cam Boozer, I don't know. But I certainly wouldn't let a desire to draft the BYU guy, and I'm a local guy, a guy with a relationship with the owner.
Yeah.
Don't let somebody leverage that relationship into you doing something foolish or giving up more assets than you should. That's not how smart NBA teams work. That's how the Washington Wizards usually work. I expect the Wizards, honestly, just to take Darren Peterson.
Okay, I'm going to take... You expect him to take Darren Peterson.
I do.
I think it's very possible. I'm certainly not ruling anything out. I wouldn't rule out them taking Cam Boozer, but more likely they take either AJ or Darren, and I'm totally with you.
But if they can get their guy and squeeze assets out of the Jazz, then they're going to do that.
They're going to try and do that, yeah.
Don't be the franchise that falls for that.
Okay, take Nikola Jokic out of this conversation because he was a second-round draft pick. But the 2014 draft goes Andrew Wiggins, Jabari Parker, Joel Embiid is 3. Aaron Gordon 4, Dante Exum 5, Marcus Smart, Julius Randle, Nick Stauskas, Noah Vonleh, Alfred Payton, Doug McDermott. Those are the top 10 picks. If you did a redraft today, who goes number 1?
Embiid.
By 1,000 miles, right?
MVP of the league, yeah.
1,000 miles. Yes, if Nikola Jokic is included in this, who was in the second round of this draft, Jokic goes 1. Embiid goes, he has played.
He's light years better than all those players.
Joel Embiid has played 490 games. Andrew Wiggins has played 830 games, almost 400 more games over the last 12 years. That's 5 full seasons. And you wouldn't even think twice about taking Wiggins over him. You wouldn't think twice about drafting Wiggins because he's played a little bit more. Because he's not a difference maker.
Nope.
He was a good player on a loaded team and won a championship and was a starter as an all-star for the Warriors because he got the Warriors' inflated vote. But that could have been any number of pretty good small forwards in the NBA. Joel is an MVP. He's one of the greatest 76ers of all time. He's a defining player of this generation. When he's on the floor, he changes the equation. If Darren Peterson can do that, and you think he can do it enough, even if you're worried maybe he's a 65-game-a-year player instead of a 75-game-a-year player, you're just taking Darren Peterson. I just don't think it's actually that difficult of a conversation. You know, if you think, well, Boozer's going to play 70, nobody plays 82 anymore. Get that out of your head. Boozer's going to play 75. I think Darren can only play 72 or 62. That 13 feels like a lot, but if Darren is twice the player as Cam Boozer, who cares?
Your point is don't get into the weeds. Take the best player.
Take the best player. Don't get into the weeds. Joel didn't play the first 2 years of his career. First 2 years, he missed both seasons. Still the best player from this draft by a million miles other than Nikola Jokic. So, yeah, I don't think I think that's easy to overthink, and I think that's where teams do get themselves in trouble. So if the Jazz have Peterson 1 or 2 on their board and are 90% sure on his health, which, look, he had his cramping issues. He said he resolved it. He played after the cramping issues resolved. He wasn't particularly good after that. He had a bad close to the season. By the way, so did Ace Bailey. College players get tired late in their freshman seasons, the same way players in the NBA hit their rookie wall. If you think he's the right guy, take him.
Jazz should hope it's cramps.
Yeah. And give him some pickle juice. You'll feel better.
No, I mean, like, if it's entitlement, that's a whole different problem.
Totally agree.
You know, if we're talking about a foot or a back or, you know, maybe that's Joel Embiid had legit health concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Cramps, like you said, put some pickle juice on it, whatever.
Unless there's something genetic or something that causes you to cramp up that doesn't allow your body to perform. If it's just, hey, this dude gets dehydrated a little more easily, we need to make sure he's getting an IV or whatever it is.
Figure that out.
Yeah, that's easy.
But I don't think that's what it is.
I honestly have no idea.
So that makes it a little bit more challenging. But again, different teams are going to have different calculus on that.
I also applaud these kids, and I mean it, because if I, as a 40-year-old now, have the understanding that I'm driving around in a $100 million vehicle, and this guy says, well, you can park your car in a garage, and a year from now it's going to be worth $100 million, or you can go drive it around for a year. And at the end of that year, it might be worth $100 million. I'm saying, well, why would I change it? Price doesn't change. I'm parking in the garage. I'm never letting it get out. Dante Exum not ever playing a day of college basketball was the right move. It was bad for the Jazz. It was great for Dante Exum. He never got exposed. He never got hurt. What did we learn once he got to the NBA? Couldn't stay healthy in the slightest. That dude was Mr. Glass.
And he really couldn't shoot.
And he couldn't play.
Yeah. He could play. He really couldn't shoot.
Couldn't
he was
shoot
just
a lick.
really flawed
player. But he didn't even test the NBA. Didn't put his body in harm's way. I applaud Darren Peterson. He put his body in harm's way, as did AJ, as did Cam Boozer, as did Caleb Wilson, as did all of these guys. I applaud them. That's a cool thing to do because you don't have to go to college. You can sit out a year. You don't ever have to play. You could say, I'm working with, I think it was Pelinka, wasn't it? That Exum was working with his year. He's supposed to go to Indiana, but he went to Pelinka because Pelinka was Kobe's agent at the time. Said, I'm going to work with Kobe's agent. That way you're going to think I'm Kobe and I'm going to get drafted top 5. And if it doesn't work out, I don't care. I got my millions. And it was the exact right move for Dante Exum. I applaud more players for not doing that because you do put yourself in harm's way the exact way Darren Peterson apparently has. And even then, after the injury, he didn't go park the car in the garage. He brought it back out, not at 100%, and tried to play on it. And it wasn't great to close the season, but if the Jazz feel like it was just cramping and you can get some IVs in him and he'll be fine or whatever it takes, that's fine. Take him. And by the way, how many minutes a night is he playing next year on this roster?
Oh, probably 20 to 30, 20.
Doubt he's getting 30.
Depends on how good he is.
Yeah, if he's great, sure. Right away, maybe he's great. I don't expect anyone to be great right away. What did Ace Bailey average last season? Minutes per game on a wide open roster. Ace played 27. I bet you're looking at 22. Great. Draft that guy. Bring him off the bench. Let him get 22 minutes a night. How many minutes did Dylan Harper play this season? He was a number 2 overall pick. Dylan Harper, very good in the playoffs, ready to go right away. Played 22 minutes a night. Say, Darren, we love you. You're going to be the face of the franchise in 4 years. We're going to work you up to that every step of the way. It's going to be obvious after year 2 that you're the guy. Dylan Harper's on a good team. He just played 22 minutes coming off the bench. It was really good for him. We're going to do the same thing for you. I think that would be my approach.
All right, coming up next, we have the Audio Vault, which is always fun. And then top of the 5 o'clock hour for Live at 5, we're going to talk to Nick Wilson. He hosts for 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. We'll talk to him about the Cavaliers and what to expect from Donovan Mitchell going into the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm saying sweep.
Okay. Skunk him. Have him close it out in 3.
Donovan! Stay tuned. More next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
No crazy soundbite slips past these guys.
I came here for the same reason people go to the zoo.
This is another edition of the Audio Vault with Jake and Ben. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. A.J. Brown's on the move, Ben. He didn't go to Jalen Hurts' wedding.
Oh. He's not been traded.
No.
But he will be.
I'm reading into it.
Sure.
I mean, the receiver-quarterback relationship. You know
Important.
what I mean? I certainly would invite them to the wedding.
Did he not get invited?
Well, I don't know. He just wasn't there.
What's worse, not getting invited or not going?
Both are bad.
Yeah, neither's good. If you don't get invited, maybe you can pawn it off as it's probably just for family. Or, it's people he's known, like maybe just outside of work. Not a big deal. Getting invited and not going seems actually to be worse to me, where I think I would have initially thought the inverse. I could play off why I didn't get invited, but if I get invited, I don't show up, it's personal.
After my own wedding, I decided I would never be insulted for not being invited to a wedding again.
Yeah. No, of course not.
Paring down a guest list
cost a fortune.
It is quite difficult.
And paring it down is hard.
But no show, no regret. It's pretty low.
Did he send a gift?
I don't think you need to, but if you're not going to be there, you have to tell them.
Okay. You have to respond on the RSVP.
And say,
can't make it.
Can't make it. Regret. Yeah. All right. Time for the Audio Vault, the best sound of the day. And we've actually been sitting on this one for a little bit, so I'm glad we're getting to it. Because we talked about this story when it happened. But Darren Waller tells the story of his season exit meeting with Mike McDaniel, then the head coach of the Dolphins, and how it was interrupted. So let's go ahead and play Darren telling the story.
I've heard some stories, some portions of the story of you being in Mike McDaniel's office as everything went awry for the Dolphins. Tell me what happened here that you were a witness to.
Yeah. So the week after the season ends, like people that don't make the playoffs, you have exit meetings with your coaches. I get up there at 9:30. And they're talking to Mike. Everything's cool. Like, we're talking about the season, like how much of a roller coaster it was for me, but how excited he was to be able to like have a relationship with each other and coach me and put me in positions to be successful. And I'm talking about next year and changes he was going to make and stuff like that. And so then the meeting's at 9:30. It's about like 9:42, and Stephen Ross just like kicks the door in, like not even like knocks, like, hey, like what's going on? Just like flings the door open. And then he joins the conversation for a couple minutes and is like, yeah, it's great to have you here. Like, you don't even need to go anywhere in free agency. Like, this would be great. We want you here. And then the conversation kind of hit like a lull, and he's just like looking at me like, and I'm like, oh, that's that get out of here look. And I looked at Mike, and Mike was like, yeah, we can finish this later, because they were looking for a new GM. They were trying to do a whole bunch of stuff in like a quick period of time. So I thought it was probably about that. And I leave the room, go downstairs and get my massage, wake up an hour later, my phone says Mike McDaniel has been fired. So I'm just like, yeah, it just keeps getting more cutthroat as time goes along.
Man, some of these pro sports franchises are run so terribly. And that's a funny story. But
no, I really don't understand the logistics of it.
If you're going to fire your coach, how do you even let them do exit interviews?
Correct. How does it get to that point?
Yeah. And you don't make an appointment to talk to him or call him to come into your office or do anything like that? You just march downstairs and kick at his door? Like, how is that a thing?
Yeah, I really do not understand the logistics of like the planning and the order of the meetings. And if you can't figure out your order of your meetings, you're probably not qualified to be making some of the decisions to run the team. And if you're the owner, which is the case here, you need to let your people do it for you. Now, again, I know they fired the people already. They were talking about Mike McDaniel being involved in hiring the next GM. And Mike McDaniel thought he was going to be part of
that's right.
hiring the next GM. He thought he was going to be in that conversation. And then the owner comes down, Stephen Ross, and kicks the door in.
That tells me the owner doesn't know what they're doing, like they were undecided.
That's what tells you?
No, I mean, honestly, maybe there was some truth to, 1 second he's saying we're going to keep Mike around.
Yeah.
And to help us pick out the
that
next
was the
GM.
plan. I do believe they thought that.
And then what? He woke up with heartburn the next day and decided to fire him instead? I mean, that's just... That's a really bad sign.
Agreed.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I totally agree.
A really bad sign. Not to mention kind of not professional. I don't know. Certainly. Have you ever been in a room when you got that's the get the bleep out of here look?
Yep. I didn't, but I stayed. But, oh yeah, I've been in some, we should go. I'm getting out of here moments.
Like hanging out with a couple and they're in a row.
Fighting?
In a row, so to speak.
Yeah.
Look at you like, dude, you should probably get out of here. You stayed? Someone gave you the look, get out of here, and you stayed?
One time. I'm curious if I've ever told someone to get out so I can have this conversation. Probably my kids. Dad's in bad, the bookies. Son, Ben Anderson's in bad, son.
Ben Anderson's in a bad way, boy.
Go downstairs. Go fire up Jurassic World Evolution or whatever you're video gaming downstairs, and Dad's gonna hope he still has the car when I'm done with this conversation. I'm trying to think if I've ever, given everyone the old take a hike. That's tough. I bet you, what's his name? Darren Waller was happy though. You would much rather be the, I'm not getting fired, I will leave guy than the guy who's getting fired. Being told to leave is good. Someone's protecting you.
Mm.
That's a good sign. Being the guy who told him we need to talk, that's actually the bad sign. Hence, McDaniel getting fired.
Yeah.
So you feel weird in that awkward situation. Like maybe you like the guy. As Waller, it sounds like he liked McDaniel. He had a good season coming back from retirement. But you're also at the same time like, glad that's not me.
And I'm out of here.
And I'm out of here. I guess I'm going to go get a massage, take a little nap apparently, and you let me know how it goes. Oh, it went bad? Well, I still got a job.
Well, his comments at the end, he's like, just gets more cutthroat every day.
Yeah.
Did Waller play for them last year?
He came out.
Or no. Is he coming back next year? That's what
he's a free agent.
No, he's a free agent.
Yeah.
I don't
but he had a good year this past year.
So funny.
I like that players are getting more willing to talk.
Oh, yeah, with all the podcasts and all
Twitch,
that stuff out there.
Jaylen Brown going on, talking to chat about everything. What do you think? Chat, leave it in the comments.
I don't know if that's really working out well for him.
No, honestly. I don't know if it's good for anybody except for us. Again, people working against their best. What's the word I'm looking for? What's best for them?
Their best interest?
People working against their best interests is the best radio.
People making public mistakes.
Jaylen Brown going after the refs, saying he had the best year of his career, his favorite year of his career, when they get bounced in the first round of the playoffs, and he doesn't get to play with Jason Tatum, and they don't go to the finals, is really good for you and me.
Yeah, I suppose.
We're almost like really crappy lawyers.
Streaming with you guys, chat.
Exactly right. The lawyers who need you to get yourself in trouble for them to make money, that's kind of what we do.
Okay.
It's just not as dire. It's millionaires saying funny things on Twitch versus, you
streaming with you guys, chat.
Got a DUI or something lousy.
All right. More Jake and Ben coming up next. We're going to talk a little Eastern Conference Finals with Nick Wilson, host of Afternoon Drive on 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. Stay
And he
tuned.
talked to Carlos Boozer earlier today. I'm excited to see what he said about booze.
97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
It's the best station, period. Let's be honest. These guys have the best job on the planet.
You come to work in a frickin' bathrobe?
So if you're out there working hard, you should also expect your radio hosts to put in an honest day's work. So of course, Jake and Ben are live at 5 with the biggest headlines and the best analysis in Utah. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Wow, Joe Ingles. Big Joe Ingles news, Ben.
Okay.
He's signing as a free agent with Melbourne, whatever that team is.
Yeah.
The Melbourne something or other.
Melbourne United.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Wow. You can say that Joe Ingles got made the very most of his NBA opportunity.
We talk about some guys. We're talking about a lot in the draft. Do you reach your 1 out of 1 outcome? Like the best case scenario.
Uh-huh.
If you get there, you become Shea. You become Michael. You become LeBron. You become Tim Duncan. You hit your absolute peak. Joe's peak was 1,000 miles below those guys, but he hit his peak. No question about it.
He played probably 4 more years in the NBA than he should have.
810 games, 12 NBA seasons. That is so far above what anybody ever would have thought. And he started late. He didn't come to the NBA as an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old. He was past his athletic prime by the time he got to the league and still stuck around forever. So, tip of the cap to Joe Ingles on a very long, successful NBA career.
How old are his kids now, probably?
30 and 28.
No. Like they're probably 10 or 12, right?
9 and 6, something around there.
Do you think they will always have an American accent?
I bet that would kill him inside.
Like if they're moving back, obviously.
Uh-huh.
Do you think they would ever develop an Australian? I think they're old enough that they've got an American accent forever.
Ironically, they winter in Australia, right? Because aren't the seasons reversed?
Uh-huh.
So they go back to Australia during the American summer, but it's winter there to get the kids. I believe he said this to help them keep their accents.
Speaking of former Jazz players, let's talk about another one. And, of course, the Eastern Conference Finals. Joining us now, he is the Afternoon Drive host for 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. Nice enough to join us. He is Nick Wilson. Hi, Nick.
Gentlemen, great to be here. And I also would like to winter or summer in Australia.
Whenever you can get it. Yeah, I'll go wherever. All right, so the Cavs got to be riding high. That was a very tough series when they were down 2-0. I thought they were dead to rights, and they bounced back. Let me ask you this. How much do you think the future of this roster depended on the outcome of last night's game?
Oh, all of it. I think James Harden was going to be here regardless because that ties back to February. But I don't think there was a player or person that was safe if they lose that game. I mean, Dan Gilbert bust in, I believe it was about 3.5% of Cleveland to Detroit for that game. If you lose that game, it automatically tells everyone, hey, we tried, we did the Harden deal, we did all these other things. Maybe this just isn't meant to be as currently constructed. And that includes Kenny Atkinson, Kobe Altman. I think everything was on the table. That's how big of a win it was last night.
So Ben and I were talking about Donovan Mitchell's game, and he had a great game. And it seemed like, who was it that was talking about it after the game, Ben? Was it
Jared
Allen talking about Donovan making an effort to get everybody involved and play maybe a little more unselfishly. Do you think that's an accurate assessment? And what do you expect in the Eastern Conference Finals from him?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Donovan, for most of this series, has been I don't want to say he hasn't been struggling consistently, but he's been focused on scoring, and James Harden has been doing a lot of the kind of facilitating and setting everybody up. And so I don't think it was a coincidence that Donovan had the game he had, and all of a sudden the bigs came to life last night in a way that, like, it's really hard to get Jarrett and Evan going at the same time unless it's Donovan attacking the way that only Donovan can kind of attack. So I agree wholeheartedly. I thought as good as the 26 points were, him getting the bigs going is what turned that into a blowout, because off that you were getting just wide open, ridiculous-looking threes. For the Eastern Conference Finals, it's interesting. This has been Donovan's most polarizing postseason with the Cavs because he hasn't just been an automatic 25 to 30 a night. He's had some really bad games, and in the previous 3 years, guys, I feel like you could pencil in Donovan for 25 to 30 no matter if the Cavs are going to win or lose. So his kind of like the assessment of how Donovan's played this year is different. The three previous years, it was Don and the Donettes, right? And so this year's been a little different. He has been up and down. Harden as well has been up and down. In the end, I actually take that as kind of a positive because you've had multiple big Strus games. Jared Allen's been a monster in 2 straight Game 7s. Like, Evan Mobley's come out. Sam Merrill's had. So, like, in the end, the recipe you need to win a championship is you need your best players each to win you a game, and then you probably need your bench to win a game, and then you probably need your head coach to win a game, right? Well, I think the Cavs have finally gotten on that, but it's at the expense of people's trust in Donovan this year because everyone's concerned at different points whether Donovan was healthy or not.
So we have a rule on our show. If you're going into a season or a series saying, well, if they don't win this, we're going to fire the coach or we're going to trade the player, you probably should fire or trade the player anyways. If you go to the conference finals now, is everything forgiven, or what standard do they need to reach here for everyone to feel like, okay, this is the right roster, or do you think they've already eclipsed that?
So it's interesting. There's the Nick threshold. There's the Ben and Jake threshold. There's my partner JP's threshold. And I think there's Dan Gilbert's threshold. And I'm going to say Dan Gilbert's threshold is a little bit higher for this roster. One, because he's been paying out the tax at the yin-yang for about 3 years now, and this is his first Eastern Conference Finals trip. The other is you've got to make a decision on Donovan and whether to pay him or not. And it's not as simple as Donovan's really good at basketball, you want to keep him, because he is going to be on the wrong side of 30 for all of this extension. And he will be making $75 million a year for this extension as well. So I don't know that they need to, quote-unquote, get to the NBA Finals for this to happen. But it's awesome that you finally cleared the first two rounds. There's no doubt about it. You need to look like you belong against the Knicks. Like, if this is a quick, I've seen a lot of national people say this is a 4 or 5 game series with the Knicks taking this quick. If that's the case, I still think the Cavs have to reconsider, hey, do we auction Donovan off and maybe, just maybe, pivot to a Evan Mobley-centric thing? I think that's the difference between getting swept by the Knicks in 4 games and maybe this thing going 7 or even if the Cavs win.
This sounds like a loaded question. It is not, because Ben and I both enjoyed covering Donovan Mitchell, and he was very friendly with the media and everything around here. But I'm curious as to your personal experience covering Donovan Mitchell.
It's interesting. I think Donovan has been every bit as advertised as when we got to Utah. I think honestly, when you watch him every night, you're kind of just you kind of get like surprised at how great he can be in those fits of a 50-point game where it just feels like he can't do anything. I do think that I think one of the most interesting things about Donovan is there are times where I think, oh, he's saying the right things because he knows what the right thing is to say. And then there's time where I listen to him and I think, oh, I think he's saying what he actually believes. And they sound very, very similar. But I do think it's been interesting to watch him. I think Donovan's kind of like Giannis. I think Donovan wants all the glory of being the best player on a team, but he doesn't love the kind of like the LeBron stuff, getting your hands dirty, weighing in on teammates getting traded, being the jerk. And I think this year feels like a pivot because he was consulted about the Darius Garland trade, but he still seems reticent for at least publicly to get his hands dirty. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, we know that. So let me ask you this then. Last night, was there a 5% contingent, 10%, 25%? Was there a group of Cavaliers fans who were hoping it would end so they would start anew or go in the Evan Mobley direction? Or do you think everyone wanted this to work out?
I can tell you there was definitely one person who did want that to go a certain way last night because it was my board op, who has been on an anti-Donovan kick here. In a way, like, I've made the point for like 2 months, like, all right, you made the trade for James Harden. Now Donovan's got to show up. Like, you've given him everything that I think he needs to succeed. And so if they don't succeed, it's not going to be because Evan Mobley isn't Giannis. It's not going to be because Jared Allen isn't Nikola Jokic. It's going to be because Donovan didn't get you over the hump. And I felt like that was like a hard line take to take in this town. During Game 6, my producer, my board op is texting me Donovan Mitchell trades to the Heat. And I was like, can we let the series play out, bub? So I throw my buddy Mac under the bus there because I do think there are people who it's like, all right, let's get this show on the road. Either we're winning this thing, we're going to make a real case at going to an NBA Finals this year, the first one we ever would have done without LeBron James in franchise history. As a matter of fact, this is the first Eastern Conference Finals in Cavs history without LeBron since 1992. And you know, let's do this, or let's go ahead and understand that maybe there's a better way to build the future. I would probably say it's under 10%, but they are a vocal minority, even if they are just a minority.
You mentioned the pundits talking about the Knicks, and I think the pundits always overrate the Knicks. That's a constant because they're in New York. I think it's going to be a way better series than that. How do you like the matchup?
Yeah, I also like this match. I feel the same way about you. Like, man, there's Knicks fans who make the Knicks very hard to root for, and then there's the national media who anytime the Knicks do anything worth of note, it's like when somebody's firstborn kid, like, he hits a home run or he gets a hit in baseball for the first time, and he would have thought that he's Ken Griffey Jr. You know, it's just it's over the top. And now, in fairness, when they stink, well, no one's ever stunk more than them either. But yeah, I think this is a good matchup. And here's the thing: I'm willing to give the Knicks the edge in this because they have done more in the postseason over the last 3 or 4 years than the Cavs. And I think Jalen Brunson has risen to the moment 9 times out of 10 in key moments in the playoffs. I just think it's interesting. Like, I know Karl Anthony Towns is doing a lot of their playmaking now. Well, one-legged Joel Embiid isn't going to be able to disrupt that. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley might have something to say about that. So in the end, I think they're going to be a lot of fun because I think we're going to score a lot of points here. Both teams are. It won't be setting basketball back to the 1970s like the Cavs Pistons series were. But I still will say I think it's probably going to be Knicks in 7. But it really wouldn't surprise me if the Cavs kind of pulled this out because, one, the Cavs are criminally slept on, and 2, I still don't think the Cavs have played to the ceiling of their talent. This is a team figuring out who they are every night in the postseason. I don't know how close they are to fully maximizing that, but like if you said right now, I asked this question a couple times today on my show, are the Cavs a better team now than they were before the playoffs began? I think the answer is yes, because they found a way to maintain all the little things you need to do to win in the playoffs. That's something they didn't know 2 years ago, let alone, 4 weeks ago.
I think if Donovan can play the way he played last night, absolutely, they can make the finals, no question about it. In the postgame, we played the clip earlier. Kenny Atkinson said, Donovan, congratulations, you get to go home. I will tell you, everybody in Utah, and maybe it's our inferiority complex or whatever it is, turned the state of New York, the city of Manhattan, the Brooklyn Nets as a team into the boogeyman. Everybody was so afraid of New York and that being a destination Donovan preferred to be in over Utah that it became, I think, bigger than the actual story itself. How do Cleveland fans feel about New York? Does that still feel like a logical end point for Donovan at some point? Does that feel like an inevitability?
So, not really just because Brunson's there. And, it's interesting. For the first 2 years Donovan was here, anyone in the national media who talked about this would say, well, the second he hits free agency, he's out the door. And so when Donovan signed the contract extension, was it now 3 off seasons ago, it felt like maybe some flipping the bird to the national media, which we liked. And 2, it just felt like such a vindication and a validation of what the Cavs have done. And I think we've had enough success with Donovan. Like, there's this great kind of placing Donovan in the Cavs pantheon, where I think everyone here loves watching this guy play basketball. And if we could watch him play basketball until he retires and we win a championship or 2, it would be, he probably would get right in there as maybe the second greatest Cavalier ever. But we're also, there is kind of this awareness of like, great player, not LeBron. And that's not said in like a negative way towards him. It's just, we had LeBron, and I don't mean this in like a negative way. LeBron, by virtue of his power, held the Cavs hostage for all 11 years he was here. And that was so much pressure, and it was so outwardly in your face that even though I know Donovan does the same things, kind of like we talked about, it's just not as in your face. So there's almost a much more ease way here of, if it came, let's say it was this offseason, hey, Donovan and the Cavs can't align on a future, I think we'd all be bummed that he's gone. But, I mean, we've already lost the biggest thing we could ever lose twice in LeBron, and I think there's an understanding of Donovan came in as a mercenary, and he's pretty much fulfilled his obligation short of winning an NBA championship. So it's interesting. I think the LeBron stuff is always informs this. And I also think because Don goes about his business in the way which you and I talked about, I think that plays better here. Whereas LeBron, even though he's from Akron, it was a bit Hollywood. It was a bit power play. It's not enough for him to make the moves. He's got to let you know he's making the moves, and that he could leave at any moment. And I think the absence of that has allowed Cavs fans to maybe enjoy the minute by minute with Donovan just a little bit differently.
All right, I really hope this question makes sense. I love talking to sports radio guys because you get a feel for what fans are like, and I like talking about the different markets. Like here in Utah, fans have an inferiority complex that generates great interest, but also a lot of kind of whining. But like Detroit fans famously love to be mad, right? Philly fans are mean. Miami fans don't exist. I'm curious, what are Cleveland fans like?
You know, it's interesting because this has changed in my life. We very much had that underdog mentality growing up because we hadn't sniffed a championship in 50 years by the time LeBron finally won one. And so I still think there's a little bit of that there. I do think, though, we definitely have gotten to, you're my favorite team, I love everything about you. We will flip that switch on you so quickly, though, if we think you've underperformed. And I don't know if that's the social media era, but, Cleveland used to get behind all levels of losers. It almost made us love you more if you lost in the AFC title game to John Elway than if you had won the Super Bowl, right? We took that was such a part of who we were. We took losing in such great stride. We suffered in it, right? And since we won a championship, do we flip on a team? Even this Cavs team, this Cavs team this year, they were in the number 1 seed last year, 64-65 win team, beloved in Cleveland. They lost to Indiana in 5, and it was bleep those guys and everything they're about. So we're still the same town, just a little bit more snobby and act like we've won like 10 titles instead of the 1 title.
I like it.
It's great.
Yeah, hey, everybody, go to the sports radio host to take the temperature on fans. They know. And Nick, we appreciate you jumping on with us. It should be a really fun series. I believe that. I think it's going to be really close.
Guys, I got a lot of love for Utah. I got a lot of love for Salt Lake City. Hope everybody's there well, and anytime you need me, just give me a call, okay?
Oh, you're the man, Nick. We'll bug you again for sure. Thanks, buddy.
Great stuff, Nick.
See you.
All right, there you go. That is Nick Wilson, host Afternoon Drive 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. That's funny. It's changed during his time.
I can see that. Absolutely. You win a title, and all of a sudden the expectations change, and you're no longer a lovable loser. You just came up short. We love our losers. Everyone loves their losers until you know what a winner's like.
And by the way, I didn't mean to call our fans in Utah whiners. That came off a little harsh. I more mean that we around here are so desperate to be taken seriously, we will complain about not
being taken seriously. Building up Rudy Gobert, Donovan.
Right. Yeah. Or even Utah, BYU. They're, dying to be taken seriously.
Yeah, can't believe you left us out of the college football playoff.
That whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wasn't trying to insult our listeners. That's usually your job.
Yes, it is. You know what? From 30,000 feet, I probably should give Donovan Mitchell more credit. And I'm not an anti-Donovan guy by any means. I recognize how flawed he is. And by the way, it certainly seems like Nick Wilson and everybody in Cleveland has felt the same experience with Donovan that fans did in Utah, which is like, oh, wow, this guy's really good, but is he good enough? Mm-hmm. Filling the shoes of LeBron, being the first real post-LeBron star, is an impossible task. And considering that is the case, I actually think Donovan's probably done a pretty good job.
Nick describing his experience with Donovan was almost exactly.
Oh, it was verbatim.
It was verbatim.
It was verbatim. What every person in Utah, radio host, media member, fan, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Was exactly right. It's like, this guy always says the right thing, and you know what? Sometimes I think he might mean it. Yeah. Sometimes I think that's the truth. And sometimes this guy is really well prepped for this exact situation, almost like his father has worked in this business his whole life, and he's learned how to do it.
From the day he got here.
From the day he got here.
I don't think he's changed much. I really don't.
No, I don't think he's changed at all.
We had that convo. On or off the court. I think he's the same player, which is really good.
He's a great player. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I have no question about that. He's just going to rack up enough numbers, and he's been in the playoffs every year of his career, which is another real feather in his cap. I told you I thought you had an absolutely great take last week, which was he got there too easily. He got there his first year and never knew anything else. Yeah, how do you know what bar to cross if you start at the bar? That was kind of an issue I think Donovan may have run into by getting the playoffs so quickly in his first season. So how do you go up from there? And I don't know if he ever has. Now he's gotten to the conference finals, and this is the first time he's eclipsed where he got to his first ever playoff run. Now how does he answer?
Yeah, and it sounds like the pressure was even greater. We talked about pressure. It sounds like the pressure was even greater than we were talking about.
Big time. Ready to blow up everybody on the roster, maybe outside of Evan Mobley. Or he said James Harden was the one that was probably going to be back, which sounds like you've got the old maid in your hand. No one will take him. Right. Along those lines, I guess I do question, if Donovan's the same person, the same player, can he replicate what we saw last night? Because that's going to be the key.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have more Jake and Ben coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Here in Utah, fans have an inferiority complex that generates great interest, but also a lot of kind of whining.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home. Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Doing it big, you know.
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Big thanks to Nick Wilson of 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland for jumping on with us during our Live at 5 segment, which is brought to you, of course, by our friends at Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 1-855-TRAJAN-1, or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. Ben, we love drama when it comes to sports. You were talking earlier how you love the players have the freedom to say controversial things.
Publicly. On their own.
On their own.
Yeah.
Well, we have a spat on Twitch. Is that what it's called? Where Jaylen Brown decided he was going to
streaming with you guys, chat.
Was going to respond to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. responded to Jaylen Brown crying about the officials and talking about his best season ever. Jaylen Brown apparently didn't like what Stephen had to say, and so went on Twitch, right?
Twitched. Started twitching.
Started tweaking.
Tweaking.
He went on tweak to talk about Stephen A. Let's play that.
Stephen A. Stephen A, Stephen B, Stephen C. Like, my offer still stands. You want me to be quiet and stop streaming? Well, I want you to be quiet and get off these networks. Because you're not using your platform to do real journalism. You're using your platform to use clickbait.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith stopped being a journalist a while ago.
Yeah, I actually don't blame him for not being a journalist. He's an entertainer, and he entertains people.
Yeah. He was a journalist when he wrote for the Philadelphia Inquirer?
I think so.
Is that right? I'm trying to remember my
Philly
Philly
Voice.
papers.
I don't remember what he did, yeah.
But he covered the Sixers for Philly, and he did some writing for ESPN and Fox Sports at the beginning, but has really ceased being a journalist a long time ago. But insults Stephen A. Okay. Stephen A., Stephen B., and Stephen C.
Oh, I do like when somebody starts an insult right out of the gate with an F-bomb.
Stephen A.
All right.
Why not come out from the top rope?
I don't think it's all that effective rhetorically, honestly.
No, it's not. But it caught me off guard because I hadn't heard the comments. I'd only read them.
Okay. Stephen A. then took to his television show, I think, or is this his podcast, his first take, and responded to Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown, be careful what you wish for. You really want me to start reporting on that level? You understand? Locker room? How the organization might think about you? How the city may feel about you? How Jason Tatum may or may not have feel about you? Sneaker deals, endorsement deals, the list goes on and on. The season is over, bro. You on Twitch, trying to do what I do, and talking about me needing to step away. It makes no sense. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm simply making the point that it is not wise, after 24 hours of having your season over in the first round, for you to be coming out talking about that's your favorite season. It ain't the smartest thing in the world to do. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was trying to sit up there and look out by letting you know this is not a good look. It's not wise. That's all. And I would have respected Jaylen Brown more, Big Perk, Jay, had he come at y'all, had he come at everybody who said exactly what I was saying. But evidently, you understand, when you're talking about clickbait and all of that stuff, somebody told you one of the best ways to get it is to bring up my name. And that's what you did. So who's really looking for clickbait? Is it me or is it you? And obviously, you would think you wouldn't need it. $304 million, NBA player. You don't need it. What you doing it for? Get your ass a studio. You looking like you in some dungeon, some little room or whatever. You making $54 million a year. You're going to make 57 next year, 61 the year after that, 67 the year after that. You're in the midst of a $304 million contract. Get a studio with a director and a producer. Calling up clips of mine. The computer ain't even working right. Can't even get the full sound up in there. Get that together. That's number one. Stop being so damn cheap. You got the money. Pay it, okay, for a better production.
Okay. First of all, I like it that Stephen A. didn't go to the insult until the end.
Yes.
He went with a threat at the beginning, which is hilarious to me. Come on, Stephen A. What are you talking about? Addicted to your own self-import?
Yeah.
Oh,
you don't want me to report.
Me to report on what's really? Again, you stopped being a reporter a long time ago. You have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to that sort of thing. No offense. But I do like that he led with a threat. Don't lead with an insult. Lead with a threat, and then sneak the insult in at the end.
And the insult was funny. The insult was the funniest part. I don't think Jaylen Brown cares about the things Stephen A. is threatening him with. Because Jaylen Brown clearly does not care about those things and really never has. Again, we've talked about it. Jaylen's kind of a weird dude. And I don't mean weird bad. He's weird in the circle. He's weird amongst NBA circles. He kind of doesn't care about some of the same things that a lot of the other players care about. He cares about some other things more than other NBA players care about. But the reason we were just talking to Nick Wilson from he's a host of a radio show in Cleveland. And he said Donovan always says the right thing, and some of the times he might even mean it. Jaylen Brown very rarely says the right thing. He's smart enough to know he's not saying the right thing, and he keeps saying it anyways. Because I don't think he actually cares that much about Jason Tatum's feelings being hurt that he said this is the favorite season he's ever had, even though he didn't play with Jason Tatum the whole time, or what that might look like. And Stephen A. tried to come at him for that. I don't think he cares. I honestly don't think Jaylen Brown cares. He's kind of a lone wolf. He kind of goes rogue. I do think that is Jaylen Brown's thing, so I'm not sure he's certainly going to be threatened by what Stephen A. has to say.
Rogue or an idiot? He either better be farming for clicks, or he's not very smart. If he's actually responding to Stephen A. Smith, you're killing it. Why would he do that? Why would you ever do that? Why would you ever care what Stephen has to say? I hope he's farming clicks.
Yeah.
Because if he's not, then that's not rogue behavior. That's unintelligent behavior. And you should not even give. I say it all the time. Why would anybody that we cover actually care about our opinion?
Yeah.
Why would that even move the needle for you? Oh, did you hear what Ben was saying? I'm going to totally reconsider what I thought I was going to do.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're a smart guy, Ben. I work with you every day, but you would hope that front offices would be immune to a writer on the outside. You know what I mean?
Brian Santiago should not be making decisions based off of what Ben Anderson says.
Absolutely not. Good third person. Well done. Yeah. That's today's exercise. I think you did that one accidentally, though.
Correct.
But to your point, he shouldn't. No, absolutely not. Because I remember Chris Hill responded to something Gordon Monson said out of pocket on the radio. And I would guess after the dust was settled, Chris regrets that.
Of course.
I would think so. He released his press release responding to something Gordon said offhanded on a DJ and PK live hit. And it created a lot more than it would have been if it just disappeared into the atmosphere. You know, why do you care what Gordon says on DJ and PK other than hopefully he's being entertaining talking about sports? But why should Jaylen Brown care for 1 second what Stephen A. Smith says? He shouldn't even be watching it, let alone responding to it. And if you respond to it, you're giving Stephen A. Smith exactly what it is that he wants.
People responding to Stephen A. is the reason Stephen A. is who he is.
That's the reason he exists.
Yeah, because people have continuously and continually built him up, including, and Stephen A. is brilliant at this. Stephen A. knows how to do this because what was he doing 6 months ago? He was going on Fox News. Like, Stephen A. knows how to get himself in front of the biggest audiences and draw a bunch of attention, and he does not care if you criticize him. Yeah, I'm sure that bugs him at times. I'm sure it makes him feel uneasy because he is a human being, but he knows it's good for his paycheck, and it's really good for his paycheck. I'm sure he's the highest paid media member out there right now in sports media. He's top 5 for sure.
It's either he or what do they pay Pitt?
Yeah, Pitt might be the highest, but he's up there. Stephen A. is making dozens of millions,
What about Stephen B and Stephen C?
And that was funny. You're right. It is stupid of Jaylen Brown to respond. And I think that comes from a naivete and a competition.
Well, all Stephen is saying is that it was stupid of him to talk about that stuff in the first place.
Which, by the way, was accurate.
Which is correct.
Yeah, Stephen A. was not wrong on that front. And
it was stupid of him to say that was my favorite season.
Yes.
After they just got eliminated. And, of course, every bozo like you and I are going to say, well, what does that say about Jason Tatum?
Correct.
It's the layup response that 100% of the audience had as soon as he said that. So you're either doing it on purpose or you're a dummy.
And maybe he's a dummy. He certainly doesn't have great media skills.
He's either I think he's farming for attention.
He might be. I mean, that's why he's going on Twitch.
I think Stephen A. Smith is totally right about that. I think he is farming clicks. I think he is going for the attention. Why else would he do it?
Get a studio with a director and a producer.
Yeah, seriously.
They ain't even working right, can't even get the full sound.
If you're going to
get that together.
If you're going to beg for attention, do it right.
It's working for him right now.
Is it?
But it will change how people view him, which maybe he doesn't care about.
I think it probably created. If you were Jason Tatum and you heard him say that, what would your reaction be?
Can we get Giannis?
So now they're tap dancing behind the scenes on how to say, no, everything's just fine. Just like with Donovan and Rudy and all this stuff. He's either doing it on purpose or he's a dummy.
The one thing I would say is in a lot of ways, these players of all sports are just extremely human and have the same issues that you and I do, different financial situations, but the same issues and insecurities, and hear what people say about them critically. That is one thing. On the flip side, some of them are so vain that they can't take any criticism. And by the way, that's not pointed at Jaylen Brown. That could be Jason Tatum, and you better hope it's not. Mm-hmm. Because if Jason Tatum is so vain that he takes that layup response of, oh, the best season you ever had is not playing with me. Well, I'm the best player on the team, and I'm going to reinforce how I'm the most important player on the team, and I'm going to have them trade you. That could happen.
Şengün stopped passing to Kevin Durant.
Correct.
After that burner thing, Şengün stopped passing to Kevin Durant. Shout out to David Locke, who was the first person I heard that pointed that out, and he was totally right.
But there is those types of dynamics all across sports. And
sure.
And Jaylen Brown better hope that Jason Tatum doesn't have it.
We have some breaking news, Ben. The
Spurs guaranteed to win game one.
They're winning. That's going to happen.
It's a guarantee.
De'Aaron Fox has been ruled out for game one. By the way, how do you know that Shams Charania...
Wait, who does De'Aaron Fox play for?
The Spurs.
Oh, okay.
How do you know that Shams Charania is in the tank for clutch? You ready? I'm going to read it verbatim.
Okay.
San Antonio Spurs star De'Aaron Fox has been ruled out for game one.
Hello.
Star. We were talking about actresses off the air the other day. Christian and I were, and actresses that our friends dated. And we made it a point to say, you cannot use the word star. Okay. He did not date a star.
To be fair,
De'Aaron Fox is not a star.
He did make an all-star team this year, but yes, absolutely, Shams is in the pocket for Adele.
100%.
Yeah.
Did anybody ever call Mehmet Okur a star?
Utah Jazz star Mehmet Okur, no.
Anyway, the Spurs are going to win.
Yeah.
Hello.
Get to start Dylan Harper tonight. They're juiced.
More Jacob Ben next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Catch the NBA playoffs on Sling TV, the most flexible live TV streaming service, putting consumers in control to watch games their way with flexible subscriptions. Want to catch one game or a full series on ESPN? Grab a 1, 3, or 7-day pass. If you want to catch as many games as possible, get a monthly subscription with our ABC, NBC, and ESPN combo package. Either way, Sling lets you watch the playoffs your way with no long-term contracts. Learn more at sling.com.
This podcast is sponsored by IQ Bar. I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Try our delicious IQ Bar Sampler Pack with 9 plant protein bars, 8 hydration mixes, and 4 mushroom coffee sticks. And now you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping when you go to IQBar.com today and enter promo code BAR20 to get this exclusive offer for our listeners. That's IQBAR.com, promo code BAR20 to get 20% off, plus free shipping. IQBar.com, code BAR20.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Dedication isn't born in the light of day. It's carved in the quiet hours before the world blinks awake. At Boar's Head, we rise with a mission to deliver craftsmanship worthy of your table. A slice of something special folded into every moment worth savoring. Because dedication means delivering only the very best. Boar's Head, committed to craft since 1905.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes to smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airways, talking sports. They got him made drinks and also loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarves. Oh my.
This message is for Jake and Ben. I've been thinking about some of your guys' draft analysis. I think in a lot of ways, people, fans and franchises pick out of a fear of not getting the star, the next face of the league. And so rather than picking based around who's going to be an NBA player, we want to draft around who could be the face of the NBA. And I think that mentality leads to taking swings that don't need to be taken. In this draft, I think Cam Boozer's a solid player and could be a starter on an NBA roster. Is his upside, being in those classes of the greatest players of all time? Maybe not. But if we could add a player like Carlos Boozer to the roster right now, I would be super happy about that. So to add a really solid starter, I think that's a win. So I'm all in favor of not swinging for the fence and instead picking the guy that will work.
In the words of the great Howard Dean, we're going to go to Washington, D.C. and take back the White House.
Great call-ins. Thank you, Jared. The first one talking about the draft, and then Ryan, who did that very well.
Yeah, better than I did. Shout out. I would say regarding the draft, and I'm totally with you, by the way. I'm a big Cam Boozer fan. I think Cam's going to be a great player. And I think fans are lower on Cam Boozer than front offices are.
Maybe. I just think I disagree a little bit with Jared with the number 2 pick. You are going for an all-star with the number 2 pick. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't, but that's the expectation. So you got to take the best player. I actually think where teams get themselves in trouble is they take who they're supposed to take.
Yes, absolutely.
Is the draft boards have us taking this player, and I think that stems from GMs don't want to get fired, because when you take somebody out of place, that's how people, the know-it-alls of the world, say, "Oh, how could they do
Sends
that?
the radar up.
How could they take Doak? My Lanta."
Yeah.
Did you see that Desmond Bain was on the board?
Right.
That gets GMs fired.
Yes.
And so I think a lot of times GMs go with the safe pick. Like they would take Peterson instead of Boozer because Jabroni at Draft Express had Peterson at 2 when you, in your heart of hearts, think that Boozer is the all-star. Does that make sense?
100%. And look, I am with Jared.
Yes, Jared. Mm-hmm.
Where I generally tend to say, like, I was talking to a player about this, or a guy about this a couple of years ago, about Kyle Filipowski. And I was like, Kyle Filipowski should be the 12th player picked. He's going to be the 12th best player in this draft, the same way Kelly Olynyk was the 11th best player in his draft. It's like that guy should go there. He's going to be that level. And the argument, which I think I've evolved on and have come around on, is you don't get that many chances to take a high-risk swing. And if you do connect on that high-risk swing, it's so much more valuable than a Kyle Filipowski or a Kelly Olynyk could ever be, that in certain situations you need to draft swing, not just, well, the 11th best guy here is the guy we should draft 11th. And along those lines, when you're drafting one or two, while there's the safest bet in Cam Boozer, who, again, I'm a huge fan of, and I see a world where Cam is the best player in this draft, the ability to swing on a guy who could reach a much higher high really is the sell for some front offices, that you don't actually get to make that many big swings. No matter what the Jazz do in free agency, they can't swing to get the best player in the NBA. He's never going to become available to Utah in free agency. So you have to take those calculated swings elsewhere. And that's why you have to go for an A.J. DiPonsa or a Darren Peterson. That's just the I guess kind of the strategy behind it.
We will have more coming up next. Stay tuned. 6 o'clock hour on the way. Jake and Ben, 97.5 VKSL Sports Zone.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.